Previously on GAHCast.
Yeah, I guess.
Or
But you could meet your favorite characters, see why Pac-Man exists, talk to him in his journey, I guess, through Pac-Man world
right, you could.
or something.
Well, I did get on. Let me see if I can pull it out. But I did get a new
Always
Pac-Man
pulling something
game.
out. Oh, great.
Well, then again, it's technically a retro game.
Or if I see a
let's
baby metal
here.
fucking
Where is it
figurine.
back here? Well, unfortunately for me, it's somewhere else, so I can't necessarily show it to you right now. Sad face. Don't know where I exactly put it, but maybe in a future episode I'll show it off.
Ready for the time of your lives, cause you are now watching GAHCast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to GAHCast, the show where this is how Alpaca thinks when we do a GAHCast recording, and this is what Alpaca thinks every single time I mention anime. I'm your host, Hydrowave99, and I'm joined here today with, of course, FluufAlpaca. How are you today?
I was tuning my guitar, and this motherfucker decides, oh yeah, let's flash some things fastly on the camera without, well, it's not full screened. Oh yes, that'll be good. Well, you flashed some cartridges, I think. I saw it was like a Sega game, I think.
Yeah, so I have two different Pac-Man games here. This is Pac-Mania right here.
Okay.
And this is how you feel every time we get going and recording.
Yeah.
And I also have Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. And this is how you feel every single time I mention anime on the entire show.
You know, I really can't remember it, but I saw a playthrough of that game, and I know it's frustrating as all hell. So, yeah.
There we go. Yep.
So yeah.
Fun times here, yeah. So, Alpaca, we've been going through the process of, catching up on all the episodes now, and fortunately for those of you on YouTube, you will now have the full collection of episodes available for you at your disposal. And we're getting the audio side up for 25 very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, that audio side, for all of our newer viewers coming into the show, thank you so much. Oh my God. You guys have been, ever since we started uploading on a platform that I have not announced yet, you guys have been swarming in like crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every time I mention to Alpaca over here, and he's like, what the flying fuck?
About what?
Every single time I mention that, that we got this many new views on the video or whatever, you're over here what the fuck?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was something. Should I break the ice about the count at least?
Yeah, we've recently on one of our most recent episodes, which is episode 23, we've received as of right now 125 downloads compared to prior, which is insane for us. We're just very small creators, social media creators, And, we're just getting going with what we have. And we can't wait to, continue providing you guys with so much entertainment and commentary about what's been going on within the gaming and tech world.
Hmm.
And, of course, talk about Pac-Man.
Shut up. Did you know that Pac-Man it was originally called Puck-Man, but people thought they would scribble out the little line in between on the where the little curve on the P is, and put Fuck Man. So they instead did Pac Man. So yeah, Fuck Man. Hey, I know a few people that go by that title. Hey, I mean, hey, you know my number's down in the description. Not really. Shut up.
It truly is amazing. And, you know, like I said before, we just keep looking forward to continuing the everlasting discovery of what's going on with the whole situation at hand. And it's going to be a very fun time, especially today, because we have a lot of crazy topics with to talk about. But
Yeah.
but first, Alpaca, was there anything else new with you besides, all the reports that we've been gathering from how our show's been recently been doing?
Um, I mean, not really. I mean, other than, I've been spending time with just enjoying video games, but I learned how to mod Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice,
So
nice.
there's that. And yeah. Um, I just been messing around with those, shooting dynamite bullets apparently, and playing the game as a cat apparently, because you can do that. Um, and I got an update from Windows. It was an Intel like display adapter thing, but I have an Nvidia card and I use the Intel integrated graphics for one of my screens. So it downloaded and then killed my graphics, and then I had to reboot. So I mean that's one other thing that I ran into. Um, Also, apparently in Red Dead Redemption 2, there are certain models that you can find in the game. That oh yeah, I've been yeah about that actually. Now I mentioned that there are certain people like in the game that are mentioned but never show up, and like there's certain things in the game like the first game took place in a state called New Austin in the game, and in the second game you can't go there until after actually spoilers, sorry, for people who haven't played it. Uh, but pretty much you can go there sometime afterwards. But there's like one of the characters is not supposed to be there, yet they have lines recorded for stuff that they do there, even though they're not supposed to be there. So I don't know. I've just been like looking at like certain things like the modding the game, being in areas I shouldn't be, and just you know maybe Rockstar planned for that character to be in that part of the game, um, but not really, because um, like it takes place after a heist in a town called Blackwater, and there's a cutscene that you can get. Well, it's not really a cutscene, but um, one of the characters gets kicked out of the bar, and this is supposed to happen with another character you're playing as, but instead you know you end up if you end up going there and the cutscene somehow triggers when the other character is there, that other character still has dialogue that shouldn't happen. And
Right.
there's been a few other things, popping up throughout the game that when I mod it to be somewhere I'm not supposed to be, or just checking out the map and stuff, just seeing like really interesting things. I just love the world building, and the idea of being able to see what's not supposed to be there or seeing what could have been by literally breaking the game. And it was pretty simple. All you had to do was, download a folder, a zipped folder, extract it, and then copy everything in that folder into the Steam apps folder, into the Red Dead Redemption 2 folder. Um, and then you just wait a little bit. It'll make a weird chirping noise at you, and you can just press F5 and it'll pop up. So it's pretty cool. Having to you know see what could have been. If the game was a little bit different, I guess, in an alternate universe. Um, so there's that. What was I gonna say about the other thing? There was something else I just mentioned too. I'm not thinking of now.
Right.
Anyways, trying to get back into guitar apparently. Um, but not really
Because the
because
man
I
wants to learn Megalovania.
no because I want to actually make music and not say, oh yeah, by the way, it'll be available in June, and then you know it's February 22nd. Also, yeah, we're recording on a Tuesday. Uh, that was not my plan. Um,
Right. I know for me
anyways,
especially, like I know I have a lot of content that I promised back last year that still hasn't been uploaded yet. And also due to my time constraints, whatever, I haven't been able to get through to making the content I want to make. And I apologize for the two people that actually saw that announcement video I made a long time ago saying that I would actually have other content besides this podcast. Yeah, because I actually had other content planned besides just this podcast. You see, I had like comic photo show and Technomania, which I was going to review Windows, but that never went through.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, at least that has an excuse. You don't have a powerful enough computer. You know, or you don't have the technology to make it the best you want it.
Exactly. Like it's like when I upgrade my computer right now. I mean, obviously, many of you have known that this has occasionally had audio issues, but once I get this new computer I want to make and can bypass the chip shortage crap, oh man, the content I'm going to make on it is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Like GAHCast episodes could come out faster. I can actually make some other content like my animation series I was originally going to make, but I just felt like with that project, it would feel more justified on a more powerful computer with better tools.
Mm. And for me though, I have the guitar. I mean, I guess I could get a better amp, but I have the guitar and I just don't want to learn it, and it just makes me sad and angry that I can't get it down. And then I get told, "Oh yes, just quick guitar." If it's making you frustrated, like, okay, thanks. But
Because,
meanwhile, this fucking guy will shred. Oh, well, he's got an acoustic, but.
yeah, because obviously, we all know that Alpaca over here wants to learn this hit song called.
Soviet national anthem. Just kidding.
He wants to
I
learn how
wanna.
to.
No, I want to learn how to do the Soviet national anthem so I can um make a parody of it. Um, because apparently those are the types of people that would help us in a chip shortage.
Right. We will have a short on that eventually, so I mean, for some of you on the YouTube side, we actually have shorts that we upload, to see on the Hydrowave99 YouTube channel. We have the video version of the show, and we have shorts that are only available on the YouTube version of the show.
Yeah, but that one that I was talking about with that short, it was done, and then we didn't want to deal with like claims yet because it's like a really like I don't know, it's just very scary, I guess. I hate copy claims, So we just scrapped it, and I'm going to redo it without a certain national anthem in it.
Right. That national anthem is truly glorious.
Yeah, especially when
Right.
when communism helps you with the chip shortage.
Right.
Not really.
And I know that some of our European viewers out there may have a slight opinion on how they think the European Union as a whole is. Like, some might think it is seemingly veering towards that, ideology. But, I mean, personally, I think the European Union is a perfectly valid union that helps, maintain order and everything within Europe and keeps the continent in peace and unified. I think it does a fairly effective job at that, as far as I know. And even though we're not a political show, this is a tech and gaming show, I do think they have done a fairly good job at maintaining peace and unity throughout the member states.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since, there might be another world war going on. I think they've done a great job. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It just, when you said that, I was immediately thinking of what's going on in the world. I'm like,
oh, yeah. The whole situation in Ukraine is pretty awful. And if we ever get any people from Ukraine watching the show, I just hope that you all can remain safe and, get through the crisis that's ahead. As for myself, I mean, I have, appeared on the Death Serpent podcast once again. It is available on it will be eventually be available on Facebook and somewhere else that I have not yet made an official announcement for, which I will eventually announce it. I promise.
yes.
And obviously, FluufAlpaca over here will be a vital help to making everything possible. And I honestly can't think of enough for being a part of this journey.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Not just, I don't like being on the back burner sometimes, Like, I like, being a part of something that, I can contribute to. That isn't just, like, gonna mean nothing, I guess.
Right.
Or, just, adding, I hate stuff that doesn't add anything, I mean, I feel like sometimes I don't add anything to certain things, so I appreciate at least being here to add something to the show,
Exactly. Yep.
Especially being the contributor to most of the memes.
Oh, absolutely. And the shorts that you've made throughout, and we hope to have many more throughout the life of this entire series. It's going to be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
What, however, is not a good time, though, is our first news topic of the day.
Oh, yes. Yes, this thing. This is a bit of a almost controversial thing.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, especially for preservationists like you who value games being supported and available for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So let's begin with the fact that the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS eShops are being discontinued.
Yes, and that means that anything that you did not, get like beforehand or afterwards, after this, it's gone. It's forever gone, just like the Wii Shop.
Mm-hmm. And what was eventually going to be the PlayStation 3 and Vita stores before the backlash happened, and they changed their course on that.
Yeah, it's Nintendo's digging their heels.
Mm-hmm. So, as you can see here, as of late March 2023, it will no longer be possible to make purchases in Nintendo eShop for the Wii U system and the Nintendo 3DS family of systems. It will also no longer be possible to download free content, including game demos. Furthermore, as this date draws closer, related services will cease to function. And it will mention that as of May 23rd, 2022, it will no longer be possible to use a credit card to add funds to an account in Nintendo eShop on Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS family of systems. And as of August 29, 2022, it will no longer be possible to use a Nintendo eShop card to add funds to an account in Nintendo eShop on Wii U or Nintendo 3DS family systems. However, it will still be possible to redeem download codes until late March 2023. In addition, so pretty much what they're saying is, yeah, once May 23rd happens, you're not going to be able to add funds for the credit card anymore. That function will be dead. And yeah, it sucks. The only way you can work around this is the fact that if you had linked your Nintendo Network ID wallet with a Nintendo account wallet, which is used on the Nintendo Switch, you can add, balances through that system.
Oh. Oh, okay.
So pretty much my advice, Alpaca, is if you don't think you're going to buy anything after May 23rd of this year, buy a Nintendo Switch, get the account system set up, and then you can add funds that way.
All right then. I'll. Jeez, wow. I mean, oh, such a damn, like, that's such a loophole that I don't even see that. I see that being patched down the road.
Well, the thing is that's because you can still do that until March 2023.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I, God, I feel like that's such a strange way to, work around this until then, like, I don't know. I just wish, like, I don't know exactly why they would just kill credit card. Yeah. Wait, actually, would it be possible to just like add like funds and then afterwards just use it as you need?
That technically would be possible. Like if you got added, like say, like $100 into your eShop, account before May 23rd using a credit card and just use it as needed, that is entirely possible.
Oh, I see. All right.
But the thing is, you have to keep in mind that you're probably going to want to make sure that you have your Nintendo eShop funds account thing linked to the new Nintendo account system. So that way, those funds can also transfer to the Switch as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend doing that anyways.
All right. Oh.
But either
I'll
way,
see what I can do.
yeah, definitely still get a Switch regardless, even if it's a used Switch Lite or something, because
Yeah.
the library is amazing, and on top of it too, we could actually play Smash online with each other.
Ooh, GAHCast plays. Anyway.
Whenever we actually get a capture card, but unfortunately, we kind of found out that we can't necessarily do a Let's Play series easily.
Yeah.
On this show because there's so much visual element with something like that it makes it very difficult to say play something like Smash Brothers.
Yeah. So it more or less be relegated to like a video only platform.
Yeah. I think honestly too, maybe Alpaca, if we do decide to play that together online, you have the ability to capture card it or whatever. Maybe you can be the Let's Player of the bunch. Maybe through Fall Through Gaming.
There is yeah, there's a cheap way of getting a capture card. Um, so yeah, there is. It's like these very cheap like USB 3.0 to HDMI captures the HDMI going in or something like that, and then the USB-A like plugs in the back of your system. So
Yeah, I would definitely say for you in particular, get the Switch OLED.
okay,
If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do capture, I swear to God, just get the Switch OLED. You get extra
all right,
storage. You get a really nice OLED screen for portable play, and it still works with everything else, so you'll be fine.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Oh, but the main thing we have to get back to is the fact that the changes to eShop on Wii U and 3DS and family systems will simultaneously take effect in software on these platforms, where it is possible to make purchases such as Street Pass, Me Plaza, Theme Shop, and Nintendo Badge Arcade.
Not the street pass. I want to buy those coins instead of walking.
Yeah.
I remember that was the thing. Like, there's like a medieval type thing, and it was like every day you walk 1,000 steps, you get 10 coins,
Mm-hmm.
and you get up to like 300 of them, and spend on this or buy them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Buy them, you lazy bastard.
Right.
Anyways,
Now, we do not have an article for this, but rest assured, I will tell you that Pokemon Bank, I swear to God, they're making it free. They're making it entirely free because of the fact they know that the 3DS online is going to get shut down. The eShop's going to get shut down. So I would also advise that if you find a really cheap 3DS as well, or a 2DS or something, snag it and then download Pokemon Bank on it, so at least you know that after the eShop shut down, you could still be able to transfer Pokemon to the Switch.
yes, certainly. Oh my god, I need to go find a charger for my 3DS. I do have one. It's just, uh, I I gave up on it.
Yeah, just download Pokemon Bank on it and just continue to let it be until you find some Pokemon games.
Awesome. Or I could get an emulator.
You could, but trust me, you're going to have a much easier time if you have the actual system itself.
Yeah, I'd probably wake up one day with one less kidney and a bucket of ice
Yeah.
next to a angry lawyer.
So that way you don't have to...
Shigeru Miyamoto will be like, "Why did you kill Mario?"
Right. So this way here, you don't have to wake up with this face.
Oh god.
Yeah. However, like I mentioned before, after March 2023, it will still be possible to re-download games and DLC on the Wii and 3DS. So if you still have anything you bought, you can still re-download it even after that day.
Well, at least I know I'll be able to keep Super Mario 3. So
Right. However, what this entails too, think of all the virtual consoles that will be lost.
that's a good point.
Since you mentioned Super Mario Bros. 3, because here's the thing though, with the Nintendo Switch Online service, you only have access to Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo, and 64 games. That's all you have for Retro Collection. And with the Virtual Console, you had access to things like the Wii and the DS and Game Boy Advance games. Those games on the Wii U will be gone.
Mm.
So,
The only way I see this is they really need to I think they're just making incentive to put the virtual console on the Switch because the 3DS was mildly successful and the Wii U was a failure. So I can only think that that's what they're gonna do, but
Actually,
I get it. The virtual console is like, what?
I would say
What's up?
actually no, and the reason for that is because they're putting all their eggs into this Nintendo Switch Online, and they're gonna, which means this includes, like I said, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo, the Genesis, and the 64 games. They're gonna put
Yeah.
each of those game libraries as its own app.
Oh, I see.
They're trying to make it
Alright.
kind of like a Netflix of gaming sort of sorts, not as much as say Game Pass is on the Xbox, but they're kind of going to a somewhat similar thing, but except with retro games. And as I mentioned when we talked about, say, this rumored Spartacus thing, which is supposed to have like be able to play PS3, PS2, PS1, PSP games, all the
Yeah.
service. What they're going to essentially do is they're going to add different systems as it goes along. Like they're probably going to add another tier, maybe for the Nintendo Switch Online. That'll probably have Game Boy Advance and Wii games. But the problem is that those collections are going to be far less than what they were on the Wii U and 3DS.
All right. Well, man,
Unfortunately,
that's terrible. That's like this is like the year is going to be 2023 and you will own nothing and you will be happy. Holy shit, this is like not a dream come true. Like this is like hell come true. Also, when you made me realize that, I realized in military time it would be 2/22/2022 at in military time 22:22 p.m. Or not p.m. because it's military, but you know. Holy shit, you just like picked the right time for the stars to align. Holy shit. God.
right. And yeah, the whole event overall is going to be pretty disaster for game preservation. I mean, there's some games and functionality as well that are really lost. Like, I know one of the big ones for me at least is Xenoblade Chronicles X. That has not been brought to the Switch. And on top of it, too, if you have a Wii, if you buy the physical disc, the eShop has the specialized patches you have to download from the eShop that increase the loading speed of the game. Essentially, what
Yeah.
this means is that if you're playing Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, you are going to have a worse experience than those who have downloaded it digitally. Loading time is going to be quite a bit slower.
Gosh. And that's a punishment for owning a physical version while also the shop is down.
Hmm.
That's like playing Far Cry 3 on the PlayStation 3 without any patches, which I actually did with a broken controller. It was terrible.
Right. Obviously, Super Smash Bros. For Wii and 3DS are going to suffer as well. All the DLC characters and stages, everything are going to be gone. I mean, fortunately, most of that did carry over to Ultimate, so it's not like all of it is lost, but it's still a full entry to a Smash Bros. Game, and all that content's going to be gone.
Yeah. That's like saying that's like saying like you had you know, Melee or Brawl, but or even the original, but any like you can only play, you know, you versus three CPUs
Mm-hmm.
on Final Destination or so.
Exactly. This is going to be the first time we experience a Smash Bros. Game where you're going to have an incomplete roster just because you haven't connected it to the internet and caught all the DLC.
It's like being told that um you can't I mean, gosh, you know. It's like being told that you can't have this because you weren't there for it. It's like I don't know, but it's like on a game that I don't know. It's, jeez.
Right. Another thing too is, I mean, this is not as bad as well. Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 actually has a couple of DLC maps and different vehicles and stuff like that. That once the eShop's gone, you can't play those. You can't obtain those on the Wii U anymore. There's like Mercedes-Benz DLC. There's the map packs that the Wii U version had. All that would be gone.
I see.
However, the reason why it's not as bad is because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe exists.
Yeah, and it still keeps on selling. Like I said, I don't know who the hell keeps on buying this shit.
40 million copies.
You know, at this point, it's surpassed the Wii U in hardware sales. I swear.
Mm-hmm. It did, because only like 13 million Wii U's sold.
That is like a small population in a country. God.
It is, yeah.
Oh, it's not even a fraction of America's like population.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend Alpaca if you can. Either just go through the Wii U and 3DS and see if there's any games you want to pick up. Because there's a lot of games that obviously, if there's digital only, you probably want to make sure you can pick up the ones that you're the most interested in. So that way, at least you know you have them.
Okay. For the Wii U, I want there was a very terrible like indie game about memes. Let me look it up.
As if
Meme.
it wasn't sad enough. I mean, we lost Miiverse. Now we're losing the eShop.
Yes, I want Meme Run. I want Meme Run on the Wii U console. This would be lost to wait. It's lost media? I mean, yes, of course it's going to be, but it was recalled. The game was submitted to Nintendo 4 times before being approved. As of March 2015, the game was pulled from Nintendo eShop thanks to a copyright claim filed by the Trollface's creator. What the fuck? Holy shit!
Yeah. But yeah. We lost the Miiverse. Now we're losing the eShop.
On top of that, who knew? This was the, who knew that this was the precursor? Now we lost Meme Run.
Mm-hmm. Rest
Damn
in peace,
it.
fellow comrades. But yeah, I think we've officially run out of everything for the Wii U and 3DS. They were great consoles, and just play the games as much as you can before the eShop shuts down, or at least get everything you need and just enjoy those games.
Yes, because we know Nintendo does not care if it's good for the player or not.
Dude, they shut down Smash Tournament because they try to use Slippy with rollback netcode, and they try to want to make their game better. Like, how
Is this good for our inflated ego?
All right. But one thing that is interesting about Nintendo they're experimenting with is the fact that they are also doing AMD FidelityFX in Nintendo Switch Sports, possibly. And once I get this article loaded, we will get started on this discussion, because it's kind of interesting to think about that, you know, Nintendo's experimenting with AMD technology again.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Wii U and 3DS both use AMD technology, and obviously the Switch swapped the NVIDIA technology.
Yeah, and yet it's they're choosing the more open source option of super sampling, you know.
Yep. So as you can see, we have NW Player 1, 2, 3. And if you take a look at what this thing says over here. I'm gonna zoom in on the screenshot here. If it loads, it does. If not, it doesn't. You can see there's a copyright mark for AMD. Once it loads on my end, of course. And the audience can see it. But for Alpaca, he probably already had the image pulled up on his computer already, and he can see it. But
Yeah. It's pretty much paperwork that mentions FSR and copyright and stuff.
Which obviously you got this from reading the description on like the eShop or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I was hoping to hop into this game because obviously I liked, Wii Sports, and Nintendo Switch Sports is obviously, well, Wii Sports on the Switch. I mean, who doesn't want to play freaking bowling and tennis and whatnot with some new games? But I thought this was interesting because this could potentially mean that this game could probably run pretty well. Especially if they decided to do the technique of, making a really low resolution and then blowing it up with clarity.
Yeah, and FSR itself is very a very lightweight technology. It's just a bunch of like shader calculations that instead of like a like with NVIDIA, it's like an AI that's literally learning how to recreate this game as it was, prior to the, scale down. Well, but yeah, and the best thing is sometimes it makes the image look better. I mean, in a sense, personally with, these types of technologies, I would rather technology advance to the point where it can where we can not have to, upsample stuff, but it is pretty impressive, how it's able to make something like a 1030, GT 1030, like run a game at 60 FPS as of today from something that was in like what 2016, I think.
Right. And
that was supposed to be a low end card at that time anyway. But anyway,
granted, both of us are running what most would consider low end cards right now.
yeah, we're running GT 210s.
No, we're running 1660 Supers.
Just kidding, get fucked, I won the lottery, dude. Anyways, no. I got the 3090 Ti, bro!
This is where I would lift the middle finger, but I don't feel like putting an editing box over it, so there you go.
I got it running in SLI, dude. It's running 4000 FPS on Minecraft. Anyway.
Yeah, but one thing I have to notice is that NVIDIA DLSS is superior to this because it uses specialized hardware tensor cores to be able to produce, take these lower images and uses deep learning super sampling, which obviously is the name, to make the images blow up and clear it and everything. But even then, this is still impressive to see this in a Nintendo game.
Oh yes, certainly.
Another thing to note too is the fact that while this has to be implemented on a per game basis, so if Nintendo were to do this, they could probably go back and probably maybe do this for some of their older games. I would say specifically, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 could probably use this if they could implement it. That would be amazing. But I know Xenoblade 3 is currently in development, so they're probably putting all the work to that mostly, so.
Yeah, and I feel like games that, like if a game is running at like 30 FPS locked, on the Switch, they can then implement this technology and with a bit of patching, throw it in there and then, hey, there's a 60 FPS update or something, or at least 45 FPS. I don't know.
Right. But, meanwhile that, we also have to talk about the Cyberpunk 2077 patch that also came out.
Oh, yes, this one.
Yes, the Cyberpunk 2077 next-gen patch that will officially allow the Xbox Series X and PS5 to get their official next-gen versions.
As if it wasn't already bad. Anyways, sorry.
It's in a much better space. It's in a much better place now than it was at launch.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's not perfect, but it's still in a much better spot.
Yeah, at least I can play it on, like, good enough hardware. Like, I could probably play it on my system now without, with a good enough visual quality, not having to, like, reduce the resolution even at that point,
This is the perfect game to put a Hatsune Miku mod. There you go.
Yeah, certainly. Here's hoping there's no clipping issues.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So as we look through here, it'll say that it brings various improvements to the game, numerous quests and gameplay fixes, as well as a number of free DLCs. On top of it, it contains the next generation update, which will allow Cyberpunk 2077 to take advantage of the additional power of the Xbox Series X and S and PS5 hardware. Hear what the update brings to each platform. And unfortunately for me, I have to actually try and get this image to load. Here we go. So let's take a look at this image right here. Now you can see here that you have the PS5, which has, obviously all versions of the game get new weapons, additional apartments for V, hairdressing mirror, and rebalance of gameplay, economy, and loot systems. Great. Quality of life change and everything. That doesn't hurt.
Certainly not.
And then Ray Trace Local Shadows gets added to the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game. Xbox Series S does not get ray tracing.
Sorry.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Xbox Series S is literally a 1440p console. It's not meant to be a 4K powerhouse.
Yeah, not really. Just, yeah.
It's meant to be a system that it's just capable enough to get the next-gen games.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't mind. I'm not really a fan of ray tracing right now. It can really bring out the realism of shadows, but I don't know. It's a little dull right now. Wait for next gen.
Well, not only that, you have for us cases, especially, we have to wait until we can get our hands on a 3090 or some high-end card to be able to take advantage of that technology.
Better remember I got 3090 Ti. No, just kidding.
All right. And then for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PS5, they also get various visual quality improvements. Stadia already has ray tracing, the various visual quality improvements, and spatial audio.
Wait, spatial headphone audio? What happened there? That's odd.
So as you can see here, I guess the Xbox Series X and S already got that feature added. You can see this is previously added, and the Xbox One actually has it too. But the PS5 never got it.
Wow, that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And then Stadia and PC, which as you can see, Stadia and PC are all lumped together.
Yeah, I guess, because Stadia would use a PC.
And then, yeah, so PC and Stadia, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and PS5 all get improved crowd reactions, and the PS5 gets to take advantage of the DualSense.
Okay. Oh, no DualSense for the Xbox? No, I was kidding.
Honestly, I wish when we talk about the Fortnite update later on, it makes me wish that they would make a more up to date Xbox controller to take advantage of all these features.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Remember the 6-axis? Anyway,
But looking at all these changes, I mean, also this is good to see that the Xbox Series X and S and the PS5 are getting these massive updates that they can take advantage of more capabilities.
Yeah, certainly. I just I mean, I just wonder, like looking at how, didn't the PS4 version have to get taken down and refunded?
Correct. It actually did get taken down. It did come back online though.
It's like, I just kind of like am almost like amazed at the fact that they still have it on the older consoles, like
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that this is supposed to change the performance. I know, like, this update was uh really lightened the load. I know. I wonder how it plays on the older consoles.
Right. Probably better, but honestly, I will probably play this on my Xbox Series X. That is where I have my copy. Actually, well, technically the Xbox One version, but I have it stored on my Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Probably the only person that actually has 2 copies of this game, because I actually have a Steam version as well.
Mm. What scares me though?
Mm-hmm.
The Series S version is presented at 30 FPS. Oh my god. It brings me back to not knowing what FPS is. Sorry.
Right.
I'm not trying to be a snob. It's just.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I heard. The ray tracing mode. It says Xbox Series S version has no graphics mode selection and is by default presented at 30 frames per second and 1440p with dynamic resolution scaling.
Hmm.
So it may mean that if you had already bought the Xbox One version on the system, and that's already at 60 frames per second, you may want to stick with the Xbox One version, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. If it doesn't run worse.
Right.
No disrespect intended.
Yeah, but yeah, if you look over here, they bring a lot of things here. I'm not going to go over like the additional stuff that they have here. But
look, the appearance thing is really minor.
Yeah, all the stuff here is minor. Obviously, we'll have this as part of our sources PDF in the link below in the description. But yeah. I'm going to scroll. I just decided to scroll through this, and you guys can just pause as needed. But it's a lot of fixes. And there's no end in sight for that fix. I'm just going to tell you right now. There's no end in sight for that. I swear, like, this game is going to go through a No Man's Sky situation. I swear to frick God. Like, No Man's Sky sucked at launch. I mean, I actually enjoyed No Man's Sky at launch. I actually bought that game digitally.
Yeah.
But I've heard that game is a lot better now, and I'm like, holy shit, I actually need to go back and play that. I have a very terrible big backlog. It's huge. Like, you can see my collection of games. It's freaking ginormous now, and I've been collecting Genesis games now, and had some Dreamcast games and shit. Like, and I even
when you do finally get that break, you get to sit back. Do you own a Genesis for them? Oh, yes, he does. Okay.
And then my copy of Sonic 3 and Knuckles right in that cartridge slot.
Oh, yeah.
What many people consider to be the best Sonic game out there.
Sorry. That's Red Hill Zone. Copyright 2022.
Yep. Welcome to where you can't use a vast majority of songs to the copyright reasons. I swear to God,
Yeah.
like, we had a short which we were trying to use the anthem of a very famous nation that used to exist, and well, we couldn't do it because copyright.
Yep. Oh, by the way, the only thing that's noteworthy in my opinion is right here. Perk points you spent were reset. Go to perk screen to reassign perk points are free. So, hey, after this update, you get a new skill tree and blah blah blah, I guess.
Where do you see that?
It's just on if you go down to perks, it's below this NPCs thing. It's nothing too super big, but you know, that's a thing, I
see.
guess.
Well, I'm just gonna just quickly highlight that and make that a note. But I think overall, I mean, this is good to see Cyberpunk continually improve, and it seems like it's slowly changing reputation. But obviously, the scar is there.
Yeah, it's very obvious that they're. Oh wow! They discontinued support for NVIDIA 700 series graphics cards. Wow, that's hilarious. Um, Man, I can't run it on a GT 710. Dang it. Anyways,
Right. But what else we have for patches as well is this next patch for,
oh no, they're no longer testing it. They aren't discontinuing it. Like,
right.
they're just not testing it. Sorry.
Right. But as I was getting to, we're going to start with another patch. Another patch for a certain game that is a favorite among the GAHCast hosts. But more specifically, someone that we know that no longer is with us right now.
Yeah. They died. Not really.
No. As we can see here, gyro aiming and flick stick come to Fortnite in version 19.30 with more controller options, which is great. So
oh my god, Gyro, Burkluff.
So you can see here, there's a video that they added over here, and we're not going to get into it. But they added gyro control to Fortnite on gyro-supported platforms and flickstick too. So what they're doing is that while it's true that Fortnite on Nintendo Switch and Android had gyro-based motion controls, we've added more robust gyro controls to Fortnite on Nintendo Switch, Android, PS4, and PS5, and as well as PC with 19.30. So yes, FluufAlpaca with a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 controller, maybe a Nintendo Switch controller as well, will have access to this feature.
Or I could jailbreak my 3DS and use the augmented reality thing. That would be fucking hilarious and completely, dense, but hey, I could do that. I could play Face Raiders again with Fortnite character. And no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, for those of you who want to know how to enable this, you can enable or disable gyro controls in the touch and motion tab of settings. Doing this by toggling gyro aiming to either on or off. When on, you'll be able to control the camera by turning the controller. This can offer more precise than standard stick aiming, but it doesn't have to replace it entirely. Usually players will still use the right stick for most camera control while using gyro for aiming for finer adjustments that are difficult to do with a thumbstick. You'll know, and that mentioned that you'll notice more gyro options in the touch and motion section, and they're going to go over them in the article. But I want to mention this too because when I play Breath of the Wild and use my Pro controller, I actually enjoy gyro aiming. Like, it is actually very cool to use it and just use it for very fine, precise aiming. However, the game that always bothers me with it is Splatoon. And the reason for it is because with Splatoon, yeah, you have gyro aim, which is great, but I can't look up or down with the right analog stick as well as use motion.
I see. I see.
Because if Splatoon had the ability to look up or down with the analog stick, as well as use motion, motion would be on all the way, and I could actually use it naturally. But ugh. I know many people in Splatoon still prefer gyro anyways, but I like to have the option for both. Like, full analog stick movement instead of just locking myself in two directions.
Yeah,
And
I understand that.
And that's why in Splatoon I just go pure analog. Call me a heretic for any Nintendo viewers that watch the show.
No, you're a heretic for using a console, peasant. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, hey, at least you're not using a wall socket as your enemy. Sorry, that literally looks like a wall socket from America. The grounded plug is his big gaping maw, and those two eyes are just... He is seeing biblically accurate demons.
Right.
Anyway.
So as we look at here, there are two separate active mode settings. Active mode combat refers when you want gyro active while you're in combat, while active mode building refers when you want gyro active while building or editing. And they give you the sections for, how often you want active modes for each there. So for instance, if you want to, you can probably enable each of these individually. So do you want to gyro only with scope weapons or only with aiming? Not a problem. You want to make sure it's, with scope, aiming, or harvesting, or always on? Not a problem. So you can see here, they're giving you options for how you want to customize this.
Yeah. And flick stick. It says, the thing is flick stick. It says this means you can no longer aim up or down with a right stick. This requires gyro aiming to be enabled.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will probably not be using gyro in Fortnite because of that reason. Actually, maybe not just flick stick. I will not be bringing flick stick. No. Minor rant of the day.
Thanks, Epic. Back to you, Steve. Sorry.
Right. Well, I thought we had Minecraft Steve on the show anyways, but he's not real.
Back to you, pet name Steve. Sorry.
Right. But yeah, obviously you have all the motion things, and overall, I think this is great that this is here. Another option for players to fiddle around with and just enjoy the game. And obviously with gyro coming to console, at least for the consoles that support it, this will mean close to the mouse and keyboard aiming.
Yeah.
Which is great. The one console that is losing out on this whole thing is Xbox.
Yeah. They really need to do something about those controllers. They need to bring back the Kinect. Oh wait, no. Fuck. They sold that. Sorry.
Well, not sold it, but they partnered with a TV manufacturer to bring it back.
Whatever. They told somebody, hey, take this, use it, and get out of our site. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. Also, it won't be available with GeForce Now, apparently. On the PC or mobile, apparently. So
that probably makes sense. I could see why.
The other platform that's missing out on this is iOS. He doesn't know.
Apple, for the love of God, get your shit fixed so you can have Fortnite back on your store, for the love of God.
Yeah. because it would be a big epic fail not to. Anyways, sorry. Jokes.
I'm gonna leave this entire thing. I'll just walk away because that pun was very effective, and I'm just gonna go ahead and grab some popcorn and just completely leave the show. All right, goodbye, everyone. Just
Super effective. Just like you're gonna run and go grab a bite out of that apple. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways,
you know what will make you
whatever.
leave for 5 seconds?
Ripping people's face off. Not bad metal, not baby metal. Get the fuck out of my screen. Anyways, yeah. Anyway, speaking of ripping people's face off, you know what console is missing out on ripping people's faces off? Sony.
Well,
You shall not.
That actually is a good point because there's a game that actually got censored because of that.
Oh, yes. Otherwise known as censorship.
Yeah. We don't like that here on GAHCast.
Yeah. First it was parental advisory stickers, now it's a sticker just below our favorite video games with a M or an AO. Now it's censorship itself, straight from the company it's being their platform is on.
Right, so there's a horror game called Martha is Dead. Now, for the two of us, we haven't actually followed this game, but knowing about the game is not the thing that matters here. What matters here is the principle of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And as we can see here, Martha is Dead is a narrative adventure recommended for adult audiences only, with play consisting of potentially discomforting scenes and themes that may distress some players. Both Wire Productions and LKA have always been open and honest about Martha is Dead content, with the sensitive depictions in play consistently communicated to the media since the game was announced in 2019. This content is also flagged clearly and repeatedly with the game itself before play begins. It is regret that we had to modify the experience on the PS5 and PS4 versions, with some elements no longer playable. After over 4 years of passion and hard work, developer LKA now requires extra time to make these unplanned changes. Martha is Dead as well will still launch digitally on both PS5 and PS4 on Thursday. So this is February 11th. So this was already released at that point. February 24th, 2022. Okay, I lied. So it's actually since we're recording this on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2 days from now.
I see.
But the physical retail release will be delayed to a yet to be disclosed date, although we anticipate this to only be a small number of weeks. Our physical edition will still contain the bonus content of a double-sided poster, digital tarot cards, and Martha is Dead digital EP. We will update players with the date we ship this edition as soon as we have the information. The PC and Xbox versions of Martha is Dead are both unaffected by these developments and will launch with the full unedited gameplay as planned. We look forward to players experiencing the work of LKA on Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Wow. So there you go. Xbox got a W on this point. While Xbox lost with Gyro aiming in Fortnite, they always got a win here.
But you know what platform I'm gonna play it on? Steam, PC. Anyways, so pretty much what got censored was your ability to input. It was a QuickTime event, pretty much. Now, QuickTime events, everyone hates them. It's just an unnecessary hold this to do this nowadays. It's not like urgency, you know. That's what QuickTime events are good at. And most people just make them, you know, just, oh, you have to press this button to advance. At least that's how I've always felt QuickTime events are used for. this part of the game, even though, people don't like QuickTime events like I just mentioned, what is censored is your ability to interact with the cutscene. So the cutscene just goes along as if you never pressed an input. That is what is affected. And that part of the cutscene is when, I guess, a character's face is being peeled, I guess, or something, I guess. And, it's pretty gruesome. I can tell you the graphics are, they've advanced from PlayStation 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, now 5, to, original Xbox, to now we got ones that look like mini fridges, and a PC running really damn hot still, but doing 1,000 times the work. Like, I understand that, this stuff is it makes you cringe, but this is not a game for the faint of heart. It literally says, they literally say on this Steam page, I'm glad I pulled this up, dark first-person psychological thriller. Blurs set in 1944 Italy, blurs the lines between reality, superstition, and tragedy of war. So, this obviously has something to do with World War II. But if you, keep on looking down, unashamedly authentic voice acting in Italian. Oh, man, sorry. From the creator of Town of Light. Okay. Deep and dark, multi-layered narrative. Exploration of loss, relationships, and psychological undertones of a dark period of history through the eyes of a young woman who seeks the truth, but who also has secrets of her own to hide. Excuse me with that first one. Marionette sequences, a backdrop of war, virtual photographic greatness, authentic, blah blah blah. So, mature content description down here. This is more what I was looking for. The game contains potentially uncomfortable scenes and covers topics that may distress some players. The game is recommended for an adult audience, carries the appropriate age rating. The game uses artistic interpretations that can be visually unsettling and may cause discomfort, explores complexities of the human mind, psychological trauma, and SI, I guess. I'll just leave it at SI because S injury.
Yeah, comment down below what you know, if you know what that means. Just comment down below.
Anyways, so obviously it's a game for mature audiences, as it says, and this type of censorship is, I wouldn't say an abuse of power, but like the glares on I think on some characters in, like, I think there was like a release of, it was either Final Fantasy or Devil May Cry, or yeah, it was Devil May Cry, I think, that had these like light flashes, like there was like these weird sun rays that were emanating out of the characters' private parts to censor them. And it wasn't there on the Xbox or PC release or whatever. And it's just like, I don't want to support a platform that censors their mature games and treats us like we can't handle content that we choose to purchase and play. I do not want to be told I can't handle this. I want to, take the blame if I see something that deeply unsettles me. Maybe I'd actually learn a thing or two, or, have a bit more insight into the problem. Not many people really understand what these tones are, like what I said, stuff like that is pretty, not many people feel it's it's a, not many people understand that it's a serious topic, That's all I have to say on this, though.
Right.
I just don't want to be treated like a child by the the company that had the grittier versions of certain releases,
Right.
way back when.
Yep. And you can especially tell by this because Sony recently, for the last few years, have been doing this, especially to Japanese games. A lot of Japanese games have these certain pieces of content that have been constantly getting censored. And it's pretty aggravating, I'm sure, for a lot of Japanese audience because Sony's been going after a lot of their games.
Yep.
For developers that want to, who've been with PlayStation for a long time and now all of a sudden realize, oh shit, a lot of our games are now getting censored if we want to put it on PlayStation. And PlayStation constantly trying to move towards the Western audience. It's not a good time.
I do know that Japan is a bit sensitive themselves with some of that stuff. The people that brought you, hentai, is now saying that any glorification of violence or disturbing imagery is too much, and you don't deserve to be shown this stuff, which don't agree with, but that's Japan.
Yep. Clearly, this whole situation is this Pac-Man here out of 10.
Pac-Man with a gaping mouth.
Exactly.
And doing a wingsuit thing or hang glider into possibly the Eiffel Tower. Who knows?
Right. But can we get the CAD files to the Eiffel Tower?
No, you can't even photograph it at night. But you can get the CAD files to the Steam Deck and make your own cool skins and stuff.
Exactly.
Give your Steam Deck a nice grip texture and a nice 3D artwork, if you know what I mean. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Anyways,
Yeah. While I refresh the page here, so the Steam Deck got its CAD files available for it, which is great to see.
And that is for like tinkerers, modders, even manufacturers like D-Brand, I think, can even use this.
Yeah.
You can 3D print the shell of a Steam Deck, and like you can literally create your own like it's as awesome as custom making a computer case, like making a computer case, like taking a computer case and making it your own. It's the same thing here, but in a handheld. And hopefully this might even you know what surprises me about this could also nurture a era of add-ons and stuff like that you could strap a fan to it, I guess. I don't know. You know how you could strap a fan to your phone or something? There's that weird thing I saw on a YouTube video somewhere. But something like that, but more practical.
Right. So as we can see here in the article, it says, good news for all tinkers, modders, accessory manufacturers, or folks who just want to 3D print a Steam Deck to see how it feels. As of February 11th, 2022, we're making the CAD files for the external shell, which is the surface topology of Steam Deck, available for download under a Creative Commons license. This includes an STP model, STL model, and drawings, or DWG, for reference. We are looking forward to seeing what the community creates. So, this is actually a very interesting perspective to see, because most major platform holders don't do this. Like, we've even seen Sony with the shells at one point just constantly say no before they started officially making their own shells.
Oh yeah, and they committed an act of terrorism across D-Brand,
Right.
Sorry.
And I do think that this is going to overall be great for, people who want to make accessories for the thing and skins and cases. Maybe OtterBox could do something with this and actually make a special OtterBox Steam Deck case. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yes. Or I could 3D print my own Felix dress-up game. No, I'm just kidding. I
my
could 3D
God.
print a magnetic sticker, and I can just, whenever I feel like it, just undo the magnets and
Oh, yeah.
have fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We also can use this for Alpaca especially, we can make a specialized themed case with Felix.
For our friends.
Yeah, all our friends. We got Felix and RE0 and Baby Metal and Pac-Man and Hillbillies and
Monica from DLC.
Oh, especially that friend. She was the best friend we ever had when one of our old co-hosts were around. It was a great time.
Oh, yes.
And we still love her. I mean, one of my most impactful games, actually. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I especially appreciate Mr. Derek,
Mm.
I don't know who that is. Sorry.
We're just going to go with it. Mr. Derek from across the street.
Yes, I guess.
And, of course, with the insert penis, skinny penis 69.
Oh, yes. And as long as our freedom is respected, America.
Of course, a giant American flag on the back of the Steam Deck case.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So many fun times.
We're taking any buyers, so yeah.
Yeah. If we get the Steam Deck case out, we can make a special GAHCast merch for your Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
When we have enough followers to make it actually worth it.
Yep.
Because we're not showing up for money or anything. Not as far as I know.
I know, but I wouldn't dismiss any offers, right?
Yeah, if anyone sponsors us, I mean, hey, we'll take the sponsorship offer.
Yeah. I know a few people who do want to take some offers.
Of course. Well, yeah, I mean, by sponsorship offers, we mean complete acquisitions.
Yeah. Sponsorship offers. We'd love to purchase Red Bull. No, I'm just kidding.
God, imagine we were that rich to be able to purchase the company that made Red Bull. Wouldn't that be something?
Honestly, that, and I would love to, buy Mountain Dew, and then purchase Monster, and then,
So you tell me you want to buy Pepsi and Coca-Cola because Mountain Dew's a Pepsi product, and, well, Coca-Cola's Coca-Cola.
Well, I want to buy the permission to use Mountain Dew.
All right, we have to get our official Doritos and Mountain Dew sponsorships from Pepsi.
Sorry.
This
Anyways,
show, imagine making a sponsorship deal. It's like, this show is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Doritos. Get your Doritos and Mountain Dew for all your MLG needs. So you get 420 no-scope, everybody you need to see. Use your promo code GAHCast to get 20% off your next order of Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Not really.
No,
we have to be clear. Not really. That's not we're not sponsored.
No, we're not actually sponsored. That was a fake sponsorship ad just to show this. That's what a sponsorship would be like.
Yes. But also, I'd like to thank our sponsor, where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, yes, awesome. Hell yes. Now we have it. Oh, God. All right,
yeah. So
where is it?
Yeah, so let's
yes.
Yeah, so let's take a look at these
America.
articles here that we have while we're waiting. And the first one is from Platinum Games, who we've been talking about for the last few weeks. These guys have been pretty active in terms of saying their opinions about the industry and everything like that. Very active recently.
Yes, very active.
And on Valentine's Day, well, let's just say Platinum Games want to send a Valentine's Day card to Microsoft because Inaba, who is the president of Platinum Games, responded by saying he'd be open to any possibility as long as Platinum was afforded the kind of independence he expects Microsoft to offer Activision once the deal is complete. The most important thing for us is to have the freedom to make the games that we want to make. When I hear about the recent acquisitions, I don't think Microsoft's going to start micromanaging Activision to where they take all their freedom. I don't think it's going to be a relationship like that. I think there's going to be a lot of mutual respect there, and I think Activision will be able to continue doing what they do best. That's also what's most important to us at the end of the day, whatever form that takes for us and our company. So I would not turn anything down as long as our freedom was still respected. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that, I mean, obviously the article also keeps note that in our previous suggested that Platinum would not be interested in a sale to Microsoft, which has publicly stated its desire to add a Japanese studio to its first-party roster, should the theoretical arrangement limit its independence. So, translation: as long as they can continue to make whatever games they want, they don't care if they're bought now. So it probably shows the change in the status of how the people at Platinum view the company.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing to think. Like, imagine if whoever buys Platinum out, like, what games could they make? I mean, if Microsoft bought Platinum, they can actually go back and do Scalebound, actually.
Yeah, certainly.
Or,
You know.
yeah, but the only problem is that they don't get the IP that Platinum is known for because Bayonetta is and Astral Chain are owned by Nintendo, and Nier Automata is with Square Enix.
Yeah, but at least they'd have footholds in every console. You know, maybe maybe if they did something like they had exclusives to every company or something, that would like, I don't know. That would be, I think that would be pretty cool, but I'm not sure if that would really be worthwhile. But, you know, something just to think of.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Microsoft could really use Japanese studios, so I think that would make sense. I think another company that would make sense, even though they're not actively participating in this, if Nintendo. I saw it, Rubber Ducky.
Wah. Wah.
What I was gonna say though is I feel like I think Nintendo would make sense for Platinum. And the reason for it is not only the Japanese company, but because I feel like Nintendo could utilize Platinum in many different ways. Because obviously they own the Bayonetta Astral Chain IP, which is a good chunk of their IP. They can probably use it as a bargaining tool. Be like, hey, let's actually lock Platinum up, and maybe they could do it as a defensive move. Because the last acquisition Nintendo made was actually with Next Level Games, and they did that out of a defensive move.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're the ones that developed the developers of Luigi's Mansion and right now Mario Strikers. They wanted them locked up so that way no one else could get them.
I see. Yeah, and that would I see how that would definitely make sense more than just having their hand in every pot, you know.
Yeah. So I feel like if Nintendo wanted to, they could probably buy off Platinum and tell them they can continue to make the games they want to make just on their platform and use it as a defensive move because they know that, oh shit, we would lose Bayonetta and put Astral Chain sequels if we don't act on Platinum.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, I know those games are niche, but I think that would make sense. And I mean, if Sony wanted to focus on Japan again, I mean, yeah, that could make sense. I think Sega could also make a good fit for Platinum because obviously Bayonetta connection. Because Nintendo and Sega practically co-owned that IP, so I feel like having Sega and Platinum paired would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you brought this to like Square Enix, maybe because Nier Automata, I know Babylon's Fall, I believe, is also being made by them too. But honestly, that's like one possibility. But yeah, I mean, it seems like whoever studio acquires Platinum, it's most going to be for the talent, not so much for
Yeah,
the IP.
definitely.
Although they did get a huge chunk of cash from Tencent, so maybe they might decide to fold to Tencent just to say, hey, thank you for all this money. We'll take it on being part of your company. I mean, who knows?
I guess, but Tencent, I think we've discussed this before, how they're very much into the mobile aspect of stuff. So
Right.
I think Platinum Games would be, I wouldn't say ashamed, but be disinterested in doing mobile only stuff.
Well, keep in mind
Um,
too, this is the same company that owns majority share in Riot Games, who also does League of Legends and also invests in Fortnite and every other company you think of, even Ubisoft.
uh,
Tencent is primarily a financial company that backs up games studios. They have stakes in like almost every single company. It's ridiculous. If you ever
all
look
right.
up if you ever look up like Tencent's investments, it's crazy. Like they even have a huge stake in Epic Games.
Uh,
It's ridiculous.
yeah.
But well, speaking of Ubisoft, who we just mentioned, we also have to talk about the fact that Ubisoft reveals sales stats and that they welcome buy-off offers.
Oh,
And it says here that Ubisoft has been seeing some negative publicity as of late, largely due to the French gaming publishers' affinity for NFTs and poor working conditions. NFT part, we can attest. They've been very stubborn about that. And it says, as of the day this article got released, the company has released its most recent earnings report, giving gamers a look at how the company is managing financially. On top of this, upper management has begun discussing the possibility of Ubisoft being acquired in the future. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is performing extremely well due to its microtransactions. These grew by 80% compared to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I guess more people felt like it was worth it to spend money to fast track their experience in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
right.
Yeah. Especially if we're trying to get rid of microtransactions, like predatory microtransactions, and people are falling for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I don't understand. I mean, I know Valhalla was like more uh more looked highlier upon, I guess, or something. But uh it's got microtransactions in it.
Mm-hmm. And we can also see that Rainbow Six Siege has also added over 10 million players over the last year to reach over 80 million unique active players. Rainbow Six Extraction, which was released on January 20th, had reached over 5 million players so far. And obviously more DLC and season pass and stuff for Siege and Extraction. Fun times here.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing that's going to somewhat disappoint you. When compared to Far Cry 5, playtime per player in Far Cry 6 is up 45%.
Oh.
So I know you're a huge Far Cry fan.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Far Cry 6 and I looked at gameplay and stuff, and I like the horse riding and stuff, and I like that there's more guns. There's like the Canadian Set Me Foul, or FAL, and then there's like a few other guns that they threw in, but um, I don't know. It, it, I also know that it's a little disappointing, like, but I think there's more to it. I got Halo Infinite to tie me over anyway if I'm in the mood for Far Cry, though, so
Yeah,
not to
that
worry
can't.
too much. It's just,
Yeah, that campaign, from what I understand, is actually pretty good. So
yeah. But with 6, though, I heard it was very just. It, it has its identity, but it's generic for Far Cry.
right, and with the fact that they're also trying to make that a games as a service for the next Far Cry. Ugh.
Yeah. Also that, like, jetpack rocket launcher thing, um, that I saw. Like, you pull a cord and it sets, like, it shoots rockets. I don't know why that ruins the game for me. That's so petty of me to say that, because I'm usually very open, but how the fuck do you pull a cord and shoot rockets out of, your backpack and blow things up?
Right.
It just blows my mind that they don't think that, oh yes, maybe the main character will go deaf for a few seconds.
Oh. And
Definitely a few seconds,
yep. And as you can see here, it says that Ubisoft also know that Rise Republic has received great reception with playtime per player up 60% over Steep, so good to see there. And the company reported net bookings of $847 million, which is in line with their expectations. And they also mentioned that games such as Avatar, Frontier of Pandora, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Skull and Bones, as well as more exciting games are coming up in the next fiscal year. And it's saying here that Skull and Bones was started in 2013 and has undergone multiple change direction and scope over the past 9 years. So fun times there. And this is the thing that's the most important thing of the entire article. Regarding the possibility of a sale, Ubisoft Yves Guillemot has stated that the company is not looking to sell at the moment as it feels confident in its financial position. With that being said, Guillemot also made it clear that Ubisoft and its board of directors would entertain an offer to be acquired. So pretty much, if someone asked them if they wanted to buy it and they gave them a good enough offer, they would think about it.
I see.
And I see a couple of screenshots of Anno 1800, and that game was actually pretty damn awesome. So, write that game right down there. Yeah. But yeah. What do you think of this whole situation here? I mean, it seems like Ubisoft's gotten to a point now where, even though they may be doing pretty okay-ish, they're facing massive negative publicity. For us, it's more so the NFTs than anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's, sorry, I just heard like a weird thing at my door. Thought it was a mouse. Um, just the cats. Anyways, my opinion on this is, I understand that they're, like it says, their affinity for NFTs. Poor working conditions as well. Yeah, I mean, I know Ubisoft it's had its, been exposed, and the light has been shown on them a little bit more ever since, the ActiBliz thing. Um, but I know the NFT thing is definitely, making a lot of people upset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I understand that too, because, it's one, it's a buzzword, but two, it's not very well highly looked upon, I guess, right now. Um, that makes it a buzzword, but it also is the fact that it's not done right, in my opinion. I feel like they're trying to make these like exclusive things that that you can sell and stuff, and just I don't know. I don't get it. They're dipping their hands, or they're dipping their feet into the pond too fast, I guess. And they're putting all their chips in it though. So it's more like they're diving into the pond and not realizing there's, piranhas in it, I
Right.
guess.
Exactly.
Um, uh, and I think they should have just waited a little bit, not jumped on what, could have been a big thing, but really isn't, and more is uh, disliked as of right now. I mean, personally, I know we talked about it, how I wish NFTs were implemented for like a used digital game market, like license thing, like, how we said, and how it could also be used for like, serializing actually really tangibly important things, Or, I mean, even then, this thing with, Ubisoft using them as to serialize items in a game is more or less what we want to kind of see, but it's not quite there yet.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. I just feel like right now Ubisoft's games are largely feeling samey,
Yeah.
and
So it's as if they would, make it something they would like instead of innovating their game design, they just jump on this bandwagon and they don't, you know, you can go ahead. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't jump in your mouth.
no worries. But yeah, it is all very samey nowadays. Like you even look at Assassin's Creed, a Far Cry, like despite the difference in time period, whatever, it all feels relatively the same. And you could kind of say the same, almost same thing for like Division and everything else they've done. It's all practically samey,
Yeah. Um,
which is rather sad because Ubisoft has tons of unique ideas behind their vault. Like Rayman, for instance, who practically hasn't really had a new game that featured him on the console for a very long time.
mm. And you'd think with like the success of platformer games still that Rayman would have a 3D world in a sense to go around in.
Right,
Hell,
but
Kirby's new adventure thing, the 3D Kirby game that we were talking about last time.
mm-hmm. Yep, Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Like you have all the different platforms Nintendo, but instead you have Rayman, who practically has its spin-off character, the rabbits, overshadow them, and that's being used towards Mario and not Rayman.
Yeah, that's the worst part is that it's as if Mario just stole the rabbits at this point and Rayman is left in the dust as like a angry antagonist. Like Wario at this point. He's literally in the same boat as Wario and Waluigi. Especially Waluigi.
Hmm. Well, the funny
Um,
thing is that Waluigi's purple, Rayman is purple.
they're both lanky.
Mm-hmm.
Rayman is secretly Waluigi confirmed.
Woo! And while the whole situation with Ubisoft and Platinum Games is quite intriguing to say the least with the current trends of acquisitions, let's talk about how Microsoft opened Activision talks. Like, when did they actually talk to them? Well, as we can see in the title here, 3 days after a CEO harassment report was when Microsoft decided to talk up to Activision and decide, hey, we want to acquire you.
I don't talk about Activision anymore without a mask.
And then seeing this scumbag right there, front and center.
Yep, it just makes you wanna, you know, I need to divert the smell of, uh, they say Mark Zuckerberg looks like a reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah. So, as we can see here, For a month, the Chartable publisher had been in headlines stemming from the workplace sexual harassment lawsuit filed by California Fair Employment Agency in July. The bad press hit a fever pitch on November 16th after the Wall Street Journal published a report that asserted Activision CEO Bobby Kotick had not only known about the many incidents of sexual harassment that occurred at the company, but also acted to protect those who were responsible for the abuse. Days after that article came out, Phil Spencer told employees he was disturbed and deeply troubled by the horrific events and actions that allegedly took place at Activision Blizzard and that Microsoft would reevaluate its relationship with the publisher. Well, they certainly did, alright. It's one day after that email that Spencer called Kotick to start the process that would end with Microsoft announcing plans to buy Activision Blizzard some 2 months later. And this is all according to a U.S. Securities Exchange Commission filing first spotted by CNBC. Starting on page 31 of the document, Microsoft devotes nearly 10 pages detailing the timeline of its talks with Activision. According to the filing, Spencer told Kotick during the November 19th phone call that Microsoft was interested in discussing strategic opportunities between the two companies and asked if he had time to talk to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella the following day. That Saturday, November 20th, Nadella made it clear that Microsoft hoped to purchase the publisher, saying the company was interested in exploring a strategic combination with Activision Blizzard. And it says, it turns out the quick pace at which the talks moved was mainly due to all the other companies interested in buying up Activision Blizzard after its stock dived in November. At least 4 other companies contacted the publisher about a possible acquisition. None of them are being named in the SEC filing. However, one notably just wanted to buy Blizzard. And Activision didn't move forward with that option because the company's board of directors deemed the sale would have been too difficult to pull off. And the document also detailed the terms of the purchase agreement. If the deal doesn't go through due to antitrust complications, Microsoft has agreed to pay Activision Blizzard a termination fee of up to $3 billion. And a few years ago, that's a possibility Microsoft probably wouldn't have had to worry about too much, but 2022 find the company in a very different regulatory environment. At the start of the month, NVIDIA banned a $40 billion bid to buy ARM after the Federal Trade Commission sued to block purchase. President Biden appointed Lina Khan, the commission's current chair, to a position on the strength of her excellence in antitrust law. When the NVIDIA ARM deal fell through, the agency specifically noted it was significant because it represents the first abandonment of a litigated vertical merger in many years. Whew. Alright. So pretty much what they're saying here is that 4 other companies were also interested in trying to buy Activision Blizzard. And I think we knew that I believe Activision Blizzard approached Facebook and they declined. But I wonder which company would want to be the idiots to only buy Blizzard.
Me. Sorry. I would love to purchase one snowflake from Blizzard. I would love to buy a Blizzard. And can it be the Reese's? No, can it be the Twix Blizzard? Thank you, Dairy Queen. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, thank you. I would like the Twix Blizzard to the. Can I have the Oreo Blizzard, dude? Sorry, God. Fucking smooth brain ass fucking moron. Anyways,
But who? I want to know what company would only want to buy Blizzard Entertainment.
does that mean Blizzard come with the free DVD? Sorry. Anyways,
I have a feeling this is going to be a short.
Um, I mean, see, the thing is that you know, just I think just buying Blizzard, you have you know, I don't know, cause like, yeah, you're kind of right. Who would want to just buy Overwatch? You know, is World of Warcraft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Diablo.
or Diablo, um, who wouldn't, want everything that Activision has? Activision is a company that has been there since as far as I know, before the Atari even, before the 2600, I think. I don't know.
I mean,
Um,
they were the ones that made famous games in the entire 2600, such
yeah,
as
like Call of Duty 2003. No, I'm just kidding.
Pitfall.
Yeah, Pitfall. And now you can play that in Call of Duty, apparently. Um, hey, how the turntable. Anyway, sorry. Uh, but yeah, no, a company that has years and years of, existence and proven creativity and profit making, um, even if some of that was morally and legally wrong. you know who wouldn't want a company that has all that and more to offer,
Yeah.
as well as Blizzard and King, and you know th- they would have COD, they would have you know League of Legends, right?
No, that's Riot.
Oh, sorry, I don't know. Who wouldn't want to have then fuck, give me 1 second. What does Activision have?
Who wouldn't want Spyro or Crash or Tony
Yeah.
Hawk or Guitar Hero or all these very different type of games? And then on top of two, who wouldn't want Candy Crush?
Oh yes. I got it for free with my Windows 10. Can I get Candy Crush 2 with Windows 11? Can I have some candy with that Blizzard? Can I have a Twix Blizzard? I was kidding.
Uh, yeah.
Can I? Thanks, Sheila.
I mean, at least you didn't get served by Bobby Kotick.
What was that? Anyways.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, but everything over here is interesting to see, like, what's been going on. Like, the fact that, like, 5 of the companies thought about acquiring Activision Blizzard, and Microsoft just wanted to be quick on it. I know that Microsoft especially wanted to buy it quickly because they know that who knows who could acquire them. Like we discussed before, like, what would Facebook do with them?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. Um, Thankfully, when they had intentions of purchasing them, they. Yeah, but the thing is that it's interesting how it was only a few days, afterwards, I just think, they swept them up really quickly for just after, you know, news broke out that they're committing heinous acts over at that company,
Hmm. And also, they wanted to buy them at the cheapest possible price because with a stock evaluation being significantly lower than what it would be at normal, they wanted to scoop it up at the not only at the quickest time, but at the cheapest price.
Yeah, and I see how that, you know, how why they did that really quickly. It's just it's interesting to note that other than a financial reason, was this was this a genuine act of like, uh, you know, uh, is this good for the player? I don't know.
I would say based on what Microsoft would want to do with them, I would say yes. But as terms of, what the moral of actually acquiring them because they know it's cheaper, who the hell knows?
Yeah, I guess that's where the question lies. I only know, um, this fall, I guess, when
Right.
Call of Duty comes out.
But while we do know that the mystery of the morality of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is in question, we do know one thing that's not in question. What was once in question, we know the answer to now. What was once hidden is now in sight.
We've
Because
noticed that you were using an ad blocker. Oh fuck, they found me.
ladies and gentlemen, boy, we have to discuss how hundreds of sealed retro games were discovered in Nebraska storage facility.
Oh.
So the same state that we meme on for lack of T-Mobile coverage is home to what essentially is a retro gaming vault.
Yeah. Literally full of like I remember Hydrowave told me this. It's full of, you know, copies of, old games like Street Fighter 2, I think is right there. It had Chrono Trigger. It had hold on one second. Let me take a good look through this. Oh, there's SimCity, I see. Street Fighter 2, of course. Yeah. My God, Castlevania Bloodlines. But yeah. Anyways, continue on with this. But, they even had the accessory for 4-player, the Super Multi-Tap.
Mm-hmm.
Continue on with this, but my God, looking at this video, holy crap! But the thing is, it might not have been 1994. It might have been 25 years later, because Chrono Trigger and a few other games were released after 1994. But anyway,
Yeah. But even then, like, regardless if it's 1994 or 1996, like, this is still an impressive find. Like, all these retro games, some of which are high in value, lost to time, are suddenly being resurfaced again.
yeah,
And it's very good to see. Like, all these different games just showing up in service. It's amazing. Like, I wish I was this guy and went to Nebraska. I mean, granted, I have T-Mobile, so rip. But
I mean, yeah, but hey, would you rather have mobile coverage or a treasure trove and uh like over a fortune in digital, not digital, physical old games, I guess.
true. I mean, I would probably keep at least one of each game for myself and then sell off the rest.
Yeah, me too. And then I'll like let my grandchildren sell it.
Or I would save each of these retro games, one for myself, each for myself, and I'd send you one of each, free of
Oh,
charge. And then
free
who
of
knows?
charge. And then I would like uh you'll probably like find I don't know, like a thank you note with a knife through it on your porch. Sorry, I don't know. Something
Perfectly
fucked up
okay.
like that.
But yeah, I can't say enough because this was an impressive find. Like, all these cool things popping up. Like, you can't go wrong with good old retro games like this.
Yeah, no, I have so little to say about something that just is so exciting to me. It's a damn jackpot, you know? Um,
Yeah.
it's like and it's a time capsule. It's old stock that never got taken with whoever previously owned this store. Um, and it's like, oh god, and these are sealed copies too. They never hit the shelves, or at least were taken back from the shelves and stored away somewhere for literally 2.5 decades at least. Um, it's just such a, I don't know, it's such a monumental find. I love it, and uh, I wish the best for future game preservation, of course, because I am a big game preservationist. But I also wish good fortune to whoever like sells these. I guess. Uh, I'll take a cut of the profit free of charge. I'll take it off your hands, man. You see me, man. I'm looking at this dude. Looking at this dude. He's like in his like kitchen living room. He's got a box full of these. Hey, man. I'll take these games off. They're probably not worth nothing. They're old, man. Hey, man. I'm definitely not. I'll take them off your hands. They're definitely worth a lot. I mean, a lot less. Here, I'll trade you this rubber duck. How about that? But yeah, no, I'm just in Nebraska of all places too. There are probably places out there that are treasure troves just like this, and I'm happy to see things like this be rediscovered, like a time capsule. That's literally what it says. It's like a time capsule.
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
Yeah.
um, I mean, hey, I'm a big game preservationist, but I mean, some things, uh, you know, don't deserve to be preserved or spun off. You know, imagine, uh, you know, uh, imagine making Scrabble, um, but you decide, oh yes, let's add Fortnite to it. That's what this next article is about, and I think I need to get the mask for this one as well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, Wordle.
I can't see.
Wordle is a been a game that's been getting pretty popular recently, where you have these five-letter words and you have these certain limited amount of slots to be able to solve what the word is. And now this game is getting a battle royale. And apparently there's already many offshoots of Wordle, such as Nerdle for math equations, Loodle for dirty words, Taylordle for all things Taylor Swift, and obviously now we have a battle royale one.
Why is there a Taylor Swift Wordle? How the fuck do you? Uh, I, this is why. I think I mentioned this before. This is why, the internet has given us such insight. There were crazy people way back when before the internet, but the internet has really shown a light on these, crazy people. This is, like, insane. Anyway, I'm not gonna anger Taylor Swift fans. I'm just saying, like, it, it's, it's something. This thing.
And I mentioned, while regular Wordle is something you can play over your morning coffee to spark your brain into working for the day as you ponder the possible letter combinations, Squabble pits you against other players. You have to rapidly guess words and you have to hit points. which diminish with each wrong guess. If you stall trying to think of different word possibilities, you'll still get damaged. And obviously, you keep guessing words until there's only one player left.
Okay, never mind. This isn't as bad as I thought it was. Now that you mentioned the, oh my god.
So
this is actually whatever, this is fine.
Yeah, so this actually reminds me more of like Tetris 99 or Pac-Man. The Pac-Man one, more so than say a Fortnite. But obviously,
yeah, for me,
I was gonna say obviously Fortnite popper the whole thing, and then everybody else copied it.
Yeah, personally for me, this kind of is more like musical chairs in a sense, you know. But I mean, not musical chairs, more like I don't know, whack the pinata.
Not the episode 16 musical chairs. That was cancer. Don't watch that one.
No, I mean, unless you can spell fanboy, then yeah.
The hidden segment that no one will ever see, no matter if we ever do a BTS, that thing will never pop up.
Nope.
But while Wordle Battle Royale is Alpaca's favorite segment of the entire day.
Shut up. I just don't like it being called a battle royale when it's like not even. This is like calling it Roblox Squid Game. I don't know. This is like saying red light, green light is just Squid Game, but fuck, I don't know.
But yeah, so we're moving away from FluufAlpaca's favorite topic of the day, the transition into Intel graphics cards.
Oh hey, the same stuff that crashed my PC earlier. Hey, Windows Update is like, hey, we got a brand new driver for you, man. It'll give you some great shit, man. And then I can't see. I can't fucking see. Anyways.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for the page to load and then we'll get started on this conversation. It's going to be a good old time here with Intel GPUs. Yeah. Maybe these ones will be more deadly to Alpaca's computer.
They better not be a fucking gigabyte power supply. That's all I'm saying. Or a EVGA 3090 running New World.
Right.
Or Hydrowave's computer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Trying to present some clean articles to present for everybody.
I mean, nothing by it, though.
Right. Oh, I guess I'll have to present this anyway. So, introducing ARC. Unleash your imagination with new Intel graphics solutions coming 2022. Hardware, software, and services, all built to help you game, create, and stream without limits. And we can see here,
yes.
Intel Arc Graphics Production Silicon in action on 10 popular games. I'm not going to stream this, so no. And there's going to be some major game partnerships, X Super Sampling, which I guess is going to be Intel's take on DLSS and FidelityFX.
Yeah, I see. I wonder, so it's more like DLSS with the AI enhanced upscaling than, FSR. Right?
I mean, if it has a similar thing to Tensor Cores, then probably. But it mentioned,
yeah, maybe.
But it depends on if whatever Intel is doing is going to have something that's similar to a Tensor Core. If there's no Tensor Cores, then that means that it's likely that this is going to be more similar to FidelityFX. So it all depends on that one factor.
I am looking at the comparison, and it's good enough for me.
And you have Intel Deep Link, which is going to, I guess, harness the power of Intel CPUs and GPUs. So pretty much what this means is that Intel CPUs will actually have good integrated graphics. Woo.
Ooh, sorry. I love that, honestly. I'd love to be able to play a game on integrated graphics, like it was a console or something.
And then obviously there's going to be HPD market architecture. That doesn't matter as much. What matters more is, as you can see here, there's a whole story behind it and media coding and action. And you can see some different partners that have. So clearly Intel is pushing this thing like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to stay updated, we can. But we also have the road ahead, which are going to mention these different things. Codename Alchemist, codename Battle Mage, codename Celestial, and codename Druid. And they're going to explain all of this in the future. So one of which is probably going to be the higher range gaming enthusiast. One's like the basic consumer one. One's probably like a middle of the road one. And one's like the super enthusiast, like fucking Bitcoin mining crazy one.
I do notice that it's literally ABCD, so I wonder if that, like, Alchemist is, or if it's like a school grading almost, but I don't think so.
Maybe. But let's take a look at the next article over here, which details more. And if we scroll down a little bit, we're gonna skip a lot of this because the most important part is this area right here. Intel graphics timing and roadmap update. AXG expects to ship more than 4 million discrete GPUs in 2022. OEMs are introducing notebooks with Intel Arc graphics, codenamed Alchemist, for sale in the first quarter of 2022. Intel shipped add-in cards for desktops in the second quarter and workstations by the third quarter. Architecture has work begun on Celestial, a product that will address the ultra enthusiast market. So this probably means that their add-in cards is probably Battle Mage. And Celestial is being aimed at the ultra enthusiast market. And there's also Project Endgame, which will enable users to access Intel Arc GPUs through a service for always accessible low latency computing experience. So Project Endgame, I feel like, is going to be similar to GeForce Now, where it's like you stream like with the NVIDIA graphic cards.
Okay. That's good. I just hope the games aren't exclusive to that.
Right. Exactly. And as we can mention the third article here, which is a little bonus supplemental material.
Is it exclusive, though, to GeForce Now? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Sorry.
But yeah, so as you can see here in the third article, it's saying that Alchemist GPUs face stiff competition from the likes of NVIDIA's 3000 series, and AMD's RX 6000 cards. But the rumored 2022 launches, of RTX 4000 and RDNA 3 loom large on the horizon. Regardless of how they end up performing, XeSS should help spice up proceedings against stiff competition, upscaling technologies like NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR. Which I have a feeling that Intel's first launch is like going to be a bit lower than what the competing GPUs are going to be like. And then once to get their Steam going, then their next generation will likely be able to be up in par.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're kind of playing catch-up game right now.
Yeah.
If they're a new competitor in the field, they kind of have to get their foot down first, and then afterward, they look at what the cards are coming up with, and then they can just blitz speed ahead.
Yeah.
The only thing we hope is that this thing can actually be successful enough to pull it off.
Yeah, I do hope that they would, like, as far as I know, like Intel is very risky. You know, they think that they like. I think there's a there's an there's a architecture that they ended up making that was mostly used for like server um, hardware. It's called like titanium, and there was like it was a contract, and they're still paying it to this day until like next year or so. And like I just I mean I know that they're very ready to have Arc be a thing. Um, I just hope that the product lives up to this amount of marketing and hype. You know, having like this Galaxy-esque sort of like style to it. You know, making it seem like top of the line stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And we can also see here that Intel confirmed via tweet that Arc Alchemist desktop GPUs will arrive in Q2 of 2022, whereas notebook versions will arrive in Q1. This confirms suspicions that the company had delayed its discrete graphics cards going against what could potentially be a RTX 4000 series. So, this kind of starts to make a little bit more sense that Alchemist is like going to be the consumer grade, gaming grade graphic card. Like, this is the stuff that we would likely be able to buy. That and Celestial is going to be like the super ridiculous like shit.
right. And Battle Mage.
I have no idea what that's going to be either, but it's hard to really say. If we scroll further down, it's saying that they kept quiet on the pricing, but they are going to work with different boards, which apparently will help with facilitating a variety of price points. Now the specs, according to what this thing's saying, is that will be the first Intel components built with the company's XeHPG architecture, otherwise as DG2. They'll support ray tracing and will supposedly use XeSS to boost FPS higher than competing AMD and NVIDIA GPUs in the same upscaling solution. Recent leaks from SI Software suggest there will be 3 performance tiers in the Arc Alchemist lineup: A300, A500, and A700. The entry-level A300 cards will likely use the DG2 128 GPU die, whereas the A500 will use a more powerful DG2 384, and the A700 lineup using the more powerful DG2 512. And it continues onward that right now the GPUs they have in stock, initial reports indicate that the Intel A500, A700 Arc GPU will rival the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070. And then there's also some links that indicate that the Intel A380 performs similar to an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Super.
Okay.
So that's a grain of salt there. But this could likely mean that they're going to categorize the GPUs into something like you have the A series for, the lower end market, the B tier for what we would consider the gamers. That makes sense why they'll call it Battle Mage.
Mm-hmm.
The C tier, the enthusiast, which means the D tier has got to be something completely different.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just a naming scheme, or if Druid really would just you know really mean something, because a Druid is like uh almost like it's almost like a priest or some sort of like do you know the term soothsayer? Think of like somebody who uh has more of a feels as if they have a higher power, to feel that they lead, this through this otherworldly being in a sense,
Right.
something like that, something along those lines. It's a Celtic word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're more leaders and they had more authority and stuff.
So we're saying that
So
our soothsayers are.
shut up. I see those baby metal figurines. You can't hide them.
Shit, I think I dropped one on the floor somewhere, so I don't have the third one right now. Shoot. It's somewhere.
I'm glad you dropped them, That, I mean, I can't really see because, but I'm just glad you dropped it, I mean, hey, anything's better than
3 of them.
blind fire.
Well, we also do have Mr. Hatfield.
Uh,
Metallica son? Yeah.
it's sad but true. You can't do this without me.
But yeah, overall, I do think Intel entering the GPU market will be great. I mean, especially for a blindfold of people like FluufAlpaca over there who wants to cover his entire eyesight with a mask and pretend he doesn't exist when he does.
I'm an emu. If I can't see it, it can't see me. This is the logic you use in games like Sherlock Holmes, the one where Watson doesn't have a walking animation, so he's literally like a weeping angel or a SCP.
I see. Well, we're talking about brains here, and while we are on the Intel rage,
Yeah,
I guess
fuck you, Intel. Ryzen 6000 mobile chips are better. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, are they though? Who knows? But according to AMD, who will be releasing Ryzen 6000 mobile chips, they're saying that. Let's see. Their AMD emphasizing efficiency above all of the Ryzen 6000 line. Improvements in Zen 3 Plus core power management and its 6nm process led AMD to make some bold claims during a recent briefing with media. For one, AMD says it wants to push base clock speeds around 40% in its 15-watt U series parts. That led to a 17% increase in performance over the previous generation, as well as an 81% jump in graphic speeds and an additional 3 hours of battery life. And say to drive the efficiency point home, AMD says that its 15-watt U-series chips can practically obliterate Intel's 11th gen 28-watt hardware. The company's testing shows that the new Ryzen 7 680U, 6800U, is around 24% faster than the Core i7 11857G. Of course, they want to make sure that they take internal benchmarks with a grain of salt. And it's worth noting that AMD didn't have access to Intel's 12th gen hardware. What they're saying is going to be vast superior thanks to the hybrid core model. And they're also saying that AMD boasts that's offering full power cores across the board with the Ryzen 600 line down the line, where Intel had split things up between powerful P cores, efficient E cores, and there's no doubt that Radeon 680M is also going to be a compelling feature for mainstream gamers. AMD says its Ryzen 5 6600U can reach up to 128 frames per second in Age of Empires 4 compared to the 86 frames per second Intel's Iris Xe graphics reached on an i7 1135G7. Difference is more pronouncing among the more main titles. AMD's graphics hit 52 frames per second in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, while Intel's only reached 32 frames per second. And obviously there's a bunch of graphics and everything here, but looking at this, it does seem like AMD's chips are at least going to perform very well. But to overtake it, well, they're using like the built-in graphics cards for each. And obviously with AMD's expertise in the graphics industry and not having Intel's newer graphics standards that they're building up right now, it's obviously that the graphics department for these internal CPUs are going to be really good.
Certainly. And it's that, and you know, I you get a kind of you know, handed to that, you know, the idea of because integrated graphics have come a long way, and AMD, at least here, they build it around making it very you know, they build around the idea of excuse me, they build around the idea of making a efficient processing, you know, processor around such little around such little you know, heat headroom, I guess, you know.
Right. And
yes, I know you literally had to get down on the floor, and I'm literally I'm looking over in the corner of my eye trying to describe this while also being very afraid of what's around the corner when I see your head pop up out of the frame of the corner of the camera. I just oh god. So AMD has built this around making a, you know, a because on you know, laptops and stuff, there is a little headroom, especially with how closed off a lot of modern chassis are. And you know, it's I know a lot of laptops have this mode where they switch from integrated to dedicated graphics, and on just, and this is to save power and, you know, even thermal headroom at some points. I feel like this just being integrated graphics running at such a low TDP, because the higher, you know, core count CPUs generally use more wattage. I feel like the ability to reach on integrated graphics alone, you know, the performance of these games, you know, because I know Shadow of the Tomb Raider is used in a lot of benchmarks, and the fact that it can hit around 60 FPS at least, it's very stunning, you know. I'm just excited to see. You know, I'm not very much of a laptop person. But I mean, considering that this technology has, we even see it in the Steam Deck. Uh, I could only hope that it leads to a future of more energy efficient laptops that can play games well, and perform other tasks well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, a lot of these bars are very you can look at this and oh yeah, that's a graph, stuff like that. Um, but uh, just looking at a graph isn't really enough to really show you. Looking at how this architecture like ticks, how this these chips like tick, looking at it uh, is a much more compelling argument to me. It also has to deal with like RAM configuration. If your RAM is not um, high enough clock speed, or you don't enable XMP, it can be choked, especially on integrated graphics. Um, so there's also that. I wonder if DDR5, like low power DDR5, for the SODIMM models, I wonder if they tested it on that or just DDR4. Um,
Right. There's so many other factors you have to think about with these tests. That's just like, obviously DDR5 RAM is hard to find right now, so DDR4 probably was what they could have used. But hey, I mean, at least we have graphic cards that are capable for these three lovely figures to rock out to a 60 frame per second. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why
Baby
FluufAlpaca.
metal.
This is what Alpaca thinks every time I see anime. Every time
What were they thinking? Anyway,
a
sorry.
freaking out Pac-Man out of 10.
What were they thinking?
Alright, everybody. And let's get on with our next topic here. This is involving some news regarding Twitter.
Oh yes, the bots have taken over.
Right. So now we're at a point where, Twitter is now experimenting with the idea that there's going to label Twitter accounts that are bots. So when we get there in a second, we're going to see a GIF of this. And you'll see that they are going to start labeling bot accounts with a special label on them. And once this computer starts, and I think we're slowly getting there. I think my internet's being a piece of crap. But anyways, when you go here, you're going to see that besides my thing being a loading piece of crap, you say get your bots in here. Remember when we chatted about all things, good bots? Well, now we are celebrating the bots who take a positive contribution to Twitter all over the world. And you can see here, they now did it. There's going to be an automated bot label on Twitter accounts that are bots. And honestly, there are numerous different bot accounts on Twitter that are actually kind of entertaining. I know there are some Twitter bot accounts that are like, they'll post the same thing literally every single freaking week.
There's a Twitter out there apparently that shows Super Mario Rule 34, specifically featuring Bowser. Don't follow it, please.
I'm not surprised anymore what people come up with for Twitter. I mean, who expects a show that's gaming technology news that roasts anime and hillbillies and everything else to exist?
You know what else exists? Voodoo Bowsette. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, um, Uh, Also, there's a picture of somebody saying thank you, and it's Mark Zuckerberg eating a sub while smirking. Uh, Take your jokes while you can, I guess.
Right. I don't know how far down it is, but I'm like, I'm not gonna bother with that.
Yeah, it's alright. It's just like 2 tweets down, but it's alright. Or 3, actually. But whatever.
Oh, I see. Right. It's like some. But anyways, besides that, like always just go onwards to the next article, which details that they're gonna start accepting cryptocurrencies for tipping creators.
I'm gonna make a Twitter account. Sorry.
So as you can see here on Twitter support, just have you set up tips on your profile yet, so it's easy for people to show their support? Yes, cool. We've added Paga, Barter by Flutterwave, Paytm, and the option to add your Ethereum address. And we all know what Ethereum is.
Oh, yes.
That cryptocurrency hype.
Yep. My GPU is mining right now.
Woo! You're trying to make that alpaca coin a reality, aren't you?
No. No. If I ever get like affiliated on like Twitch, I guess that'll be the currency used to for watch time, for like making me drink like liquefied warheads. I don't know.
Or having to make a tier where you have to listen to baby metal for an entire stream. But
Yeah,
obviously,
where's the exit button? Oh yes, it is right here. Up. Yes, space. I'm stuck in the fucking ceiling, god damn it. Motherfucker. This is what you fucking get. Oh! Fuck, I fell. Brain injured.
right.
What were we doing now?
Talking about Twitter accepting cryptocurrency for tipping creators.
Isn't Twitter like that band that like has like females that like do metal, but it's like I don't know. My head hurts.
I think you're talking about Bandmate, which is the same band that also collaborated with Herman Lee of Dragon Force, aka Mr. Dragon Force. And
Oh, is it?
and
Is it like is it like you know, the Blizzard, the Twix Blizzard, that thing that hillbillies eat, and
I thought hillbilly was like barbecue food and hot dogs and burgers, like, and try to be super America.
I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. Honestly, this is pretty nice to have Twitter give more options to tip creators, even if a lot of people hate NFTs. I think that's all I got to say about this one, because, I mean, we could confuse Alpaca further by having Kickstarter having a response to blockchain crowdfunding.
Um, I mean, that's, that's up to you, I guess. I mean, it's just, the risks are real. Anyways, yeah, we won't make changes to Kickstarter without you. So yeah, they announced that they were supporting the development of a decentralized crowdfunding protocol. So pretty much you can just pay in NFT, Ethereum, blockchain, metaverse coins. Sorry, gotta get all those buzzwords in. Sorry. Anyways, and big sad from the community.
Not really.
What do you mean?
By not really, I mean, I thought you meant like the big sad for the community is like Kickstarter not doing cryptocurrency, blockchain stuff now. Oh, that's not a big sad. The initial announcement, oh yeah, that was a big sad.
Oh yeah, big sad, and then they decided that they wouldn't because, well, they're only as good as what they're used to build. It's our responsibility to make sure that they serve creators, backers, and the entire creative ecosystem. And we are designing thoughtfully with full awareness of the challenges. So Kickstarter. We have many ideas about how a new protocol can help creators and backers. We should thought a white paper would be the best way to communicate these thoughts. It's clear to us now, though, that before we do anything else, we need to listen to your feedback so we can better address your concerns. So they will not move Kickstarter.com to the new protocol unless it has been tested. There's a public benefit corporation that they're building through an independent organization. It'll be separate from Kickstarter, but similar. Now, it will develop its own clear mission and guiding charter. They are committed to limiting their environmental impact as much as that can be.
By that, I mean that's a statement that every single freaking NFT ambition has been saying for the last like few times. Look at Ubisoft, cough cough.
Yes, certainly. Cough, cough, cough. Far Cry 6. No, I'm just kidding. I believe this new toolkit can help address long-standing challenges in crowdfunding, but we're just at the beginning. So pretty much, they're like just. So basically, they're keeping Kickstarter the way it was and creating a brand new version of it, so they can still use this blockchain stuff, but without the Kickstarter name. I see. All right. Well.
Crypto Kickstarter. Imagine using your what one person called Chuck E. Cheese coins to back your favorite ambitious projects.
Well, if I could use Chuck E. Cheese coins, then like, I don't know. You know what's funny about Chuck E. Cheese coins though is like, I think you can still use them in like vending machines and they'll actually work as a quarter, but I don't know.
Right.
I'd love to try that.
Right. We all have to make a field trip to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. I mean, at least the backlash isn't just, Kickstarter. Hundreds of Salesforce employees object to NFT plans.
Oh yes, absolutely. So pretty much what's happening here is once I get the article up, we can get going on this one because this is actually a pretty interesting one too. More crypto hate, everybody!
Woo! Oh, we did it simultaneously.
The best timing ever.
At least on my end, it was simultaneously. I don't know about the lag on your end.
But anyways, so hundreds of Salesforce employees globally are rebelling against plans by U.S. enterprise software giant to enter the non-fungible token market, according to internal documents seen by Thomas Reuters Foundation. Salesforce told employees last week it was exploring a series of NFT initiatives, including a NFT cloud, which could help companies around the world create and sell NFTs, a kind of digital asset often linked to an image or piece of artwork, which is usually bought with cryptocurrencies. More than 400 employees have signed on to an open letter which was penned after the company's announcement and is being shared in internal messaging channels. And they're saying how it is addressed to Salesforce co-CEOs and raised concern about the environmental and economic impact NFTs, call them unregulated, highly speculative financial assets. and it goes all around, just briefly explaining everything on here. And then it's also mentioned how one Salesforce employee who signed the letter threatened to quit if the NFT was realized. I'll find a company that lives by its dated values. And some employees expressed shock in internal chats that the plans were now shut as Salesforce debuted a major advertisement at the Super Bowl. And other workers voiced support for the plan, saying Salesforce could help to responsibly expand the NFT ecosystem and guide customers through the emerging market. And it's saying, based on this, we welcome our employees' feedback and are proud to foster a culture that trusts and empowers them to raise diverse points of view. Spoiler alerts, it doesn't seem like that.
I'm sorry. What? It's big backlash. Diverse points of view. I mean, it says diverse as, well, it's carbon footprint. Also, it consumes energy. Also, heat is energy. Also, we have there's a greenhouse gas or something, you know. This is like saying, oh, you know, this is like taking different points of the actual problem. This is not diverse points of view.
Oh, hell
don't
no.
know.
Like, you see this article, it's like, oh, hey, everyone's just getting fired. Not everyone fired, but everyone's just petitioning to stop this shit, and the CEOs and executives are just leaving a coy response. Like, PR speak, essentially.
Yeah.
It just shows the ever-growing of more people that are not supporting NFTs at all.
No. And, I mean, at least in a, you know, at least as they are now, as they stand, they're not what we would call supportable. At least a lot of people would, you know, agree.
Right.
They're not agreeable. They're not an agreeable good or service.
Right.
Because they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Exactly. And if we look at the there's a settlement that happened with BlockFi as well. And we look over here, it says BlockFi agrees to pay $100 million in penalties and pursue registration of its crypto lending product. I mean, it's in small font, but brace for it. This is going to be a bit of a long article, but we're going to try and get to the bullet points as much as you can. And it says the Securities and Exchange today charged BlockFi Lending LLC with failing to register the offers and sales of its retail crypto lending product. In this first of its kind action, the SEC also charged BlockFi with violating the registration provisions of the Investment Company Act of 1940. To settle the SEC's charges, BlockFi agreed to pay a $50 million penalty, ceased its unregistered offers and sales of the lending product, BlockFi interest accounts, and attempting to bring its business with the provisions of the Investment Company Act within 60 days. BlockFi's parent company also announced that it intends to register under the Securities Act of 1933 the offer and sale of a new lending product. In parallel actions announced today, BlockFi agreed to pay an additional $50 million in fines to 32 states to settle similar charges. And they're saying this is the first case of its kind with respect to crypto lending platforms. This was said by SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Today's settlement makes clear that crypto markets must comply with time-tested securities laws, such as the Securities Act of 1933 and the Investment Company Act of 1940. It further demonstrates the Commission's willingness to work with crypto platforms to determine how they can come to compliance with those laws. I'd like to thank and commend our remarkable SEC staff and state regulators for their efforts and collaboration on the settlement. And you can see here that crypto lending platforms offering securities like BlockFi's BIAs should take immediate notice of today's resolution and come to compliance with the federal securities laws. And adhere to registration and disclosure requirements is critical, providing investors with information transparency they need to make well-informed investment decisions in the crypto asset space. And yeah, so it's pretty much saying that, hey, crypto guys, you got to make sure you follow our security laws here.
I guess that's fair. Every other, you know, every other thing needs to be audited sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Every industry eventually gets regulated. Like, you see what happens to the railroad industry and then the oil industry and every other industry. So everything eventually gets regulated.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. Internet is somewhat regulated in the States, at least, but it's mostly free.
What? So. That's something, I guess.
I mean, then again, in terms of freedom of speech, you know, you go to like social media accounts and shit. And it's like you have all these people saying that, oh, hey, we're promoting this speech and not this speech and all this other crap. And if you're more right leaning, then obviously you're going to take this as an act of censorship, and people on the left leaning viewing this as an act of protecting harmful speech from existing. But that's a bit more of a odd card. I mean, obviously, as we're recording this, it's 12:53 in the morning, and naturally, we're going to say some really stupid shit.
Yeah.
And we kind of lose conscience. So take some of the stuff we say with a grain of salt. But when we talk about the news, it's mostly factual, at least. I would like to think so, based on what we read here. Mm-hmm. But obviously, having this, be regulated should be a good thing. And then the BlockFi organization responded to this by saying that they are actually pleased to share today that we have reached an agreement with the U.S. federal and state regulators, outlining a clear path forward for BlockFi and Americans to enjoy crypto interest. Here, resolution outlines the finer points of agreement, and we wanted to share some additional context with y'all. At BlockFi, we envision a world where blockchain-powered financial products and services accelerate prosperity worldwide by providing more access and better economic outcomes. We are proud to have reached this agreement, which creates a foundational path forward for our U.S. clients and the wider crypto industry. And they're saying that they're going to, the existing BlockFi interest accounts will continue to receive interest. And then once the BlockFi yield registration is declared effective by SEC, BIs of U.S. clients will be exchanged for BlockFi yield, and you will be able to add incremental assets to your account unless clients instruct us otherwise. All U.S. clients will receive an email and in-product communications with further details on change their client experience if you have questions. So yeah, obviously, they seem like they're actually pretty pleased with this, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we have much else to say on this one. So we're going to quickly move on to the next topic that we have, which is more NFT BS.
NFTs? Sorry.
More NFT stuff. And by that, I mean the UK sees over $1.9 million in suspected tax fraud. You tell here, UK authorities seize NFTs over 1.9 million in suspected tax fraud. Yeah, they actually clearly added extra S there where that didn't need to be. God damn it.
Sorry. I just... NFTs is...
Anyway, so
like you said.
Yeah, if you look over here, it says BBC News reports HM Revenue and Customs has seized 3 NFTs as part of investigation into potential tax fraud. The suspects allegedly used 250 fake companies, false identities, prepaid phones, VPNs, and other techniques to hide themselves as they sought to defraud the UK tax office of 1.4 million euros, or roughly $1.9 million. HMRC obtained a court order to take the unvalued NFTs as well as crypto assets worth roughly 5,000 euros, or $6,760. And they say this is the first time UK law enforced enforcement has seized NFTs, and they say the investigation is ongoing. And obviously, as we could tell here, it's shown that a lot of things, like people are valuing NFTs like a crazy motherfucker. When that 1.4 million euros could probably get turned to 500 euros in like 10 seconds.
Oh yes, certainly. It's I mean, this is to me, it's a little concerning. That people are taking it that seriously that they would. I mean, I see this as like another tax loophole sort of thing that was eventually caught as fraud. You know.
Yeah, like kind of see it here that they're literally use it. Now we're at the point where people can use NFTs as literally a way to, if not only escape potential tax fraud, but to make more money on top of it too.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
scary.
it is like, and yeah, you can see on here too. Like they're saying that investigation is still ongoing. However, economic crime deputy director Nick Sharp believed that seizures would serve as a warning to others would-be crypto fraud perpetrators. So hopefully, and they say that the lack of regulation and other protections around NFTs had led to significant problem with fraud and scams, including self-sales to boost prices and fake or plagiarized tokens. Cent recently halted most transactions due to rampant sales of bogus tokens, while marketplace giant OpenSea has been scrambling to develop safeguards after 80% of NFTs minted through a free tool were discovered to be fakes, copies, or spam. So having a lot of fake tokens means that, yeah, you're probably spending money on something that could likely be fake and not really have value, and that could be problematic.
Yep, it's just the trust in something that isn't really a centralized thing, something that you're putting your trust into. It's a bit sad.
It really is.
And it's sad that this is just another way to abuse a trend.
Hey, at least I know that, hey, this Pac-Man also does not think this is a good time. He's out of parachute trying to leave the planet. The paraglider. He wants to leave the planet. Apparently Alpaca does too. And I don't blame him. Unless you want to talk about how Uber wants to accept cryptocurrency.
Limited power. Anyways, yeah. Rubber duck get hammered.
The rubber ducks. Oh man. Imagine I had a rubber duck. I had a rubber ducky in a future episode, like an actual physical rubber ducky. That'd be fun.
But now it's in the bathtub floating about.
Hey, I mean,
now...
at least I know that this is real.
Is now on an Uber ride from fuck. It is now on an Uber ride to some semiconductor tower, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we're talking about that in the next topic. But anyways, so they're saying that Uber users will eventually be able to pay for rides using cryptocurrency. However, the company is essentially taking the same tack as Tesla by waiting for change that will lower transaction fees and make it more environment friendly. And they're saying, is Uber going to accept crypto in the future? Absolutely, at some point. As the exchange mechanism becomes less expensive, become more environmentally friendly, I think you'll see us lean into crypto a bit more. And saying that if Uber does, it'll join a number of firms that already accept Bitcoin, most notably Microsoft, AT&T, and Wikipedia. Yeah, you could apparently donate crypto to Wikipedia.
That's amazing. The price of a coffee is now the price of one Ethereum. Donate now and support freedom. Sorry. Freedom to edit this article however you see fit, under the moderation of somebody else. Sorry.
Alpaca is a master of going through source code and making funny change to articles. He would do that.
Yeah. Like, I could, like, make this article, just be a copy pasta about, the anatomy of a loaf of bread. And I could screenshot it and do an April Fool's prank on Hydro.
He could do that, but go back to the main topic at hand, you know. I mean, it's good for the consumer to have other options to pay for rides, but at the same time, crypto is right now currently very volatile. So that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, you could be paying for a ride through crypto, and then as soon as your ride arrives, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you owe us an extra few bucks because the blockchain just updated. Yeah, you gotta pay us a little bit more now."
You know, actually, it's a serious point. Like, if could that actually happen?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's some like loophole that companies would abuse. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I hear you though. That could be very interesting though to see this. Like, if that actually was the case. Oh, but it's a minor thing, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of aspects of crypto that just the two of us alone don't really know much about too well. And we're hoping that eventually we could have someone more knowledgeable about crypto be on the show and teach us more about this.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I get that. I mean, honestly, I'm afraid of being like a big boomer who's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna yell at this cloud for being new," or something. You know, I don't want to be like that, but
No, it makes us feel like that when all we know about NFTs is that they hurt the environment due to the massive amount of energy that they use and all this other and that it's currently being used for mostly for investment projects rather than having more practical applications.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of what makes it less attractive.
Right, like that thing though, like, being able to use it for things is great, but when right now it's mostly being used as investment tools, like assets, it makes it not very attractive at all.
Yeah, not unless it's like doing something for like the semiconductor shortage. I mean, like it's doing the opposite. We don't have any GPUs, and everyone's buying them up. Scalpers, you know, miners, and all that stuff. I God, I just wish we had some people helping us with semiconductor stuff. You know,
Yes,
like I wish we
and
had more.
finally, we could stop talking about NFTs and talk about something that's a bit more interesting to the two of us.
Something tangible. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So it's saying that Intel could soon announce a nearly $6 billion acquisition that would get fledgling foundry business a boost. The chip giant is reportedly close to clinching a deal to purchase Israeli chip company Tower Semiconductor. It could be announced sometime this week unless the talks suddenly fall apart. Tower, which has a market value of around $3.6 billion, produces various types of chips for clients across industries, including automakers, medical, and industrial equipment manufacturers. It also says that it has 7 fabrication facilities located in Israel, Italy, US, Japan, making 6-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch chips. Tom's Hardware says the manufacturing process it uses aren't cutting edge, but the chips it makes don't need the latest technology anyways. Tower only needs to reliably and regularly generate large volumes of chips. So, naturally, having a larger company like Intel being able to have this is great. And look at this. An update on February 15th says that Intel has announced that it's acquired Tower Semiconductor for $5.4 billion or $53 per share in cash. Company CEO Pat Gelsinger said in a statement, Tower Specialty Technology Portfolio, Geographic Reach, decoupled relationships and services first operations will help scale Intel's foundry services and advance our goal of becoming a major provider of foundry capacity globally. And honestly, not the case. Intel, with its vast amount of cash compared to, say, this company, could give it life and actually increase, semiconductor assembly across the world.
Quite certainly. I'm happy about this, just a bit more into the ability to produce more, just to keep this drought from, being a thing, like really. I just can't wait for this semiconductor shortage to be over with, and I could finally, enjoy the rite of passage of nowadays building a computer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, too, to keep in mind that Intel launched its foundry services back in 2021 when it committed $20 billion to build 2 Arizona factories, explaining that it will be run as its own business unit. Earlier this year, the company also revealed its plan to build a massive semiconductor facility in Ohio that's hoped to become the largest silicon manufacturing location on the planet. So, not only have we discussed this Ohio factory earlier in the show, but to see them further pursuing this is actually what makes this more exciting and more entertaining. The thought of Intel becoming probably a severe competitor to something like Foxconn.
Yep.
And we all know how dominant Foxconn is, because my god. Let's get into some more entertaining topics now. We get to some of the more unique stuff. Like, how about nano-engineered sealer for concrete?
Yeah, we were discussing this a little bit more earlier, and I this is interesting to me. I'll let you continue on, but I've got some interesting points about this, and a callback to an earlier, smaller news topic.
Yeah, so it's saying that a nanomaterials engineered penetrating sealer developed by Washington State University researchers is able to better protect concrete from moisture and salt, which are the two most damaging factors in crumbling concrete infrastructures in northern states, aka where both of us live.
Oh, yes. Damn you, snow.
The novel sealer showed a 75% improvement in repelling water and a 44% improvement in reducing salt damage in laboratory studies compared to a commercial sealer. The work could provide an additional way to address the challenge of aging bridges and pavements in the U.S. We focused on one of the main culprits that compromise the integrity and durability of concrete, which is moisture. If you keep concrete dry, the vast majority of durability problems go away. So as you can see here, they're trying to focus heavily on moisture, which like I said, in the northern states where we get a good chunk of rain and especially snow, and you have to deal with the salt on the roads. Well, that's kind of an important thing. That's all according to Jianmin Shi, who is a professor of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. And they're saying how much of the nation's critical infrastructure, such as the U.S. highway system, was built from the 1950s to the 70s, and it's now reaching the end of its lifetime for which it was designed. And they're saying about 8% of approximately 600,000 bridges in the U.S. are considered structurally deficient, and 1 out of every 5 miles of highway pavement is in poor condition. And the problem exacerbated in cold climate by multiple freeze and thaw cycles, and by the increased use of de-icer salts in recent decades, which can degrade the concrete. And they also mentioned that concrete, even though it seems like solid rock, is basically a sponge when you look at it under a microscope. It's highly porous, non-homogeneous composite material. And they go to describe that topical sealers have emerged as one tool to protect concrete, and many state departments of transportation use them to protect bridge decks in particular, which seem to suffer the worst from salt damage. The sealers on the market provide some level of protection, but moisture is often able to make its way into the concrete. And I say in their study, the research added 2 nanomaterials, graphene oxide and morillon. Jesus, that's a word. Nanoclay to a commercial silicon-based sealer. Nanomaterials densified the microstructure of the concrete, making it more difficult for liquid water to penetrate. They also formed a barrier against the intrusion of water vapor and other gases that tend to make their way into concrete. Nanomaterials also protected from the concrete from the physical and chemical attacks of disicing salts. The penetrating sealer is designed to be multifunctional, as it can also serve as a curing aid for fresh concrete. And they're also saying it's going to be more environmentally friendly and safer for workers, which is great. So traditionally, when you switch from an organic solvent to water, you sacrifice the sealer's performance, which demonstrates that the use of nanomaterials mitigates that reduction in performance. So, obviously, this is all great news to hear.
Yeah, certainly. And I think this, and you remember the regenerating concrete from an earlier episode?
Mm-hmm.
Let me look it up again. But it I wonder if they could could like, I don't know, like mix the mix this it's like a bacteria,
Mm-hmm.
and mixed with that it can heal itself, and alongside the the usual and this graphene oxide and I think it's pronounced montmorillonite, the nanoclay, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that makes sense, yeah. Morillonite, yeah. But obviously, it's such a long, unusual word that you kind of stumble on it the first time.
yeah, no, I'm not faulting you for that. I can't even pronounce it, like, looking at it. Uh, but like, uh, um, but yeah, I think this solution that we're talking about right now, if it could be combined with that bacteria that regenerates, man, I don't know. Like,
Maybe, provided if these materials don't kill organic life, then yeah, this would be great if they could merge together.
yeah, uh, it says stuff like they can survive harsh environment of concrete, um, and it'll be activated by water, blah blah blah, and it's fed by like limestone. uh,
So yeah, if they combine limestone with whatever else this concrete's made out of, with all the chemicals that is, that's gonna be a very interesting blend.
yeah, certainly. I wonder if it would be like even useful for like uh just general use stuff. Like I would love to see the day where like in a military application, um soldiers would, instead of like, have sandbags and concrete that can literally repair itself through the microorganisms living inside of the solution itself, you know. I think that would be pretty cool. And also to add to that Kevlar stuff that I think we were talking about in an earlier episode too.
Right.
Just thinking about many solutions that this Because you can't just invent a useless product and expect it to be a phenomenon, you know? It,
Mm.
it's it's got to have purpose and ease of use and a few other things alongside it, you know, that make it a generally popular thing, you know.
Mhm.
But anyways, I would love to see this be used in multiple applications, you know? You know how like in video games, some of the vehicles self-repair on rail segments. Something like that, I guess, as well.
Right. But while we have this innovations within construction and infrastructure, well, let's just say there is another innovation that some people might be a little disappointed with, and we'll see, and you'll see why. And because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm presenting you with a burger flipping robot. And they're saying that as in that you can count burger flipping robots as one of the pandemic innovations that is here to stay. White Castle announced today that it will be bringing Flippy 2, a robot chef that can essentially perform the same task as a huge team of fry cooks, to 100 more locations this year. This amounts to roughly a third of White Castle restaurants world nationwide. So it's likely Flippy may become a permanent addition to this burger chain's workforce. And they mentioned how last fall the burger chain teamed up with Misa Robotics, which the maker, to program its Chicagoland location. And it's saying it's unlikely the average White Castle patron will notice the new robots when they first arrive. Since Slippy 2 is designed to perform the back of the house kitchen functions, that's where you'll find them. The robot uses AI to identify the type of food, such as burgers, chicken fingers, or fries, picks it up, cooks it, puts its own fry basket, and finally puts it in a hot holding area. But it's possible your White Castle order may come out slightly faster than usual. Flippy 2 can dole out 60 baskets of food in an hour, according to their website, or roughly 300 burgers a day. And they're saying that Flippy 2 can operate entirely without human intervention. So, yeah. And on top of it, too, I feel like this robot will be useful. I mean, you're gonna have some of the older generations coming out, and you're like, but where are the jobs? Where are the people's jobs? And we're gonna be like, well, we have a labor shortage right now, and they have to resort to every means necessary.
Yes, and um, even with the shortages, you know, beforehand when there wasn't a labor shortage, or at least you know, in normal times, I guess, in a sense. A lot of people's arguments were that automation would, um, you know, in a sense, ruin the amount of jobs available. But the thing about this is that this frees up something very simple, and other people could be doing more complicated things. Like, um, in this case, you know, this this robot apparently can cook stuff. But who's gonna, you know, I mean, obviously there's people who are gonna serve it, but this is gonna make getting the food out faster because you don't have to worry about somebody, you know, messing up or something like that. Of course, there's gonna be somebody observing the robot, of course, just so it doesn't malfunction. Um, but this, you know, robot um, creates the food and somebody serves it. This is gonna make it easy to automate the cooking process. There's less waste, you know, less mess ups, you know, and also you don't really have to worry about somebody uh, being, you know, have somebody having a bad day and taking it out on you by, I don't know, leaving like a nail clipping in the food or something, something like a horror story like that. Um, But looking at like history and stuff like that, innovations like ATMs and stuff, now we don't have to have tellers. We do have some tellers still, but now ATMs automate most of the ability to, have more tellers working at a location. That means more locations can be built because there's less people needed to be employed. So now that you have more banks, popping up, um, those people need to fill in those jobs. Of course, there's also people who monitor the stuff. There's people who work on these, machines. Um, and accountants and tellers. With an accountant and stuff, they don't have to worry about number crunching as much. The counting the change is more automated, more easy. Less. There's a machine doing it now. And while there's a bit of error sometimes, who knows, um, the accountant doesn't have to worry about it being human error. And also doesn't have to worry about, doing that, and uh, can spend time, um, with like customer service and stuff like that. Like, um, washing machines. Let's look of like washing machines and stuff. Now it's automated, and anybody can run the local, washing machine, laundromat. They just buy a ton of laundromats or laundromat, like washing machines and dryers and stuff. And there are just more businesses, and more people that have to attend those businesses, stuff like that. So I wouldn't really look at this as a scary thing, you know. When there's a point in life where we don't have to really do anything job wise, well, well, you know, that's something I got to question, like, uh, will we all get fat and useless and automate walking and not be able to, you know, do this or that and rely on this stuff so much? I don't know,
Yeah,
but
it's like you draw the question like what Wally presents, where like people are
yeah,
always on these automated cars, and then it's like they don't have to really move at all, and robots do all the work, and on top of it too. Yeah, in the future, we may see a situation where if a lot of these places go to like say robotics, do like technology doing everything, we could see a situation in which the only people that would be highly needed are going to be those that know technology and can repair technology. But then once the machines are fully self-sufficient enough that you don't need human intervention, then you get to a point where it's like, okay, now what do we do with all the people who have nothing to really do? Do we move everybody out to farms? But then again, you have machinery doing everything, and then it's like, okay, that's like the only positions left will be like business positions.
yeah. And I see where that's a scary point, but we're not at that point yet. We're at a point where, we got stuff that's just automating little things that aren't exactly, I'd say, taking my job sort of stuff.
Yeah.
you
The
know?
only thing that kind of stinks for is for Billy, little Billy, who is 16 and wants to get a part time job. And by that, I mean like a high schooler. Little.
Get a summer job painting the walls of a local business.
Right.
Literally it. Um, I mean, well, if he's gonna worry about that, then there are plenty of other positions he can do. He can I don't know, he can be a, I guess, a shelf stalker.
But then again, a machine will probably eventually have that covered, automated. But what he could do, however, is be able to make emergency calls on Skype.
See, man, Breath of the Wild. Anyways, poor Billy. Billy Bass. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yes, the emergency call things. Yeah. Because whenever you opened it, it said that it wouldn't be able to, you know, be used for emergency calling. Now it doesn't say that if you ever open up Skype again. So yeah.
Yes.
Why? I do not know. But
Yeah.
hey.
So pretty much what they're saying that despite having a new version of Teams made for personal use, Microsoft's still updating Skype on a somewhat regular basis. Skype version 8.80 was recently released, and it comes with a few improvements to the experience on both mobile and PC. The biggest new capability, however, is the ability to make emergency calls using Skype in the United States. It says here that if you've ever tried calling a phone number from Skype, you've probably seen the warning that emergency calls aren't supported in the past. It's been that way for years, but it looks like that it's changing, and it has some benefits to boot. Not only can you call 911 using Skype, so you can use your PC if your phone isn't at hand, for example, but Skype can also share your location with emergency responders automatically. This feature is disabled by default to respect your privacy, but they're saying that it could be useful in an emergency, so you can enable it in the Skype settings. It could make it easier for responders to find you if you don't know your location or you're unable to share it for one reason or another. I mean, not granted, wow. Granted, you're probably going to have your phone on hand anyway, so I don't necessarily see the point in calling 911 on there, but I could see, like, the situation which you don't know where your phone is, but you're nearby, someone's nearby a computer, and they can be like, oh, 911. Done.
Yeah, certainly I see that too, because it's hard to lose your computer, when it's a desktop. It's hard to lose it when it's just been there and sitting there on the shelf or something or underneath your desk or something, and it's easily to just, you know, slap the space bar, type in your PIN or something, just turn it on and do that if you absolutely have to. Um, if you really can't find your phone, I see that being a use. Um, but I do get it. Yeah, it's very niche, though. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, though there have been times where if the phone is somewhere else and it's an emergency, like a home invasion, maybe I see a use for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can plug in your headphone and do it that way. But I don't know. I mean, I like this. Hey, I
Mm-hmm.
don't really use Skype. We don't use Skype anymore, but it's. I mean, I'm fine with more quality of life stuff.
They're also saying that there are other new features in this patch too, such as the ability to zoom in on a screen share during a video call. Something that we had a tough time too earlier on Discord land.
Yes, yes, yes. I was using a phone and uh, Hydrowave screen shared something, but it doesn't always translate too well when it's a desktop view. When you're viewing it on your phone, it's very tiny, and I can like pinch to zoom.
And they also added custom reactions for Skype on mobile devices, and a couple of features have been enhanced. So you can now record voice messages that last up to 5 minutes instead of the 2 minute limit before. And it got light mode. But yeah, other than that though, I mean, these improvements definitely seem nice, especially being able to use 911 calls despite it being a relatively niche use.
Certainly. Um, yeah.
Right. But I know what else is pretty useful. I mean, for us at least, it's useful for us. This is more so a news update for us and not so much for the public, but I figured we'd at least share it anyways for those of you who are also podcast enthusiasts.
All right, lay it on me. Or them.
Right. Well, actually, you kind of say that both do. Both work. But anyways. So Spotify is acquiring Podsights and Chartable. And they're usually doing this to help advance podcast measurement for advertisers and insights for publishers. And they're saying that in 2020, Spotify set out to modernize podcast advertising with the launch of streaming ad insertion. Then we built on this game-changing innovation with the introduction of our audio-first ad marketplace, the Spotify Audience Network. Just last month, we expanded even more through an interactive ad experience called Call to Action cards. With these investments, we're delivering impact for advertising and growth for podcast publishers like The Wall Street Journal, Viacom, CBS, and AdLarge. According to eMarketer, annual U.S. digital audio advertising revenue is poised to grow to nearly $8 billion, and of that, $2.7 billion for podcast advertising alone by 2025. And that's why they're saying today they're excited to announce our acquisitions of two podcast technology companies, Podsights and Chartable. And they're saying what they are. Podsights is a leading podcast advertising measurement service that helps advertisers better measure and scale their podcast advertising. Chartable, meanwhile, is a podcast analytics platform that enables publishers to know and grow their audience through promotional attribution and audience insight tools. And they give a small glimpse of what this means. So, as you can see, one of the things they're going to say is uploading measurement for podcast advertising. And they're just saying a couple other small things, but they're saying that one of the things here is that according to a recent advertiser perception survey, measurement and attribution remain the two biggest unsolved challenges for podcast advertisers. Spotify plans to solve this pain point through the acquisition of Podsights. As part of Spotify, Podsights will be able to utilize Spotify's technology intelligence to bring more accurate measurement and actionable insights to podcast advertisers around the world. In short, with the acquisition of Podsights, Spotify will be able to help advertisers understand how podcast ads drive actions that matter to their businesses. Over time, they plan to extend these measurement capabilities beyond podcasts to the full scope of the Spotify platform, including audio ads within music, video ads, and display ads. Another thing they say is that it's going to help publishers grow their business with robust insights and promotional tools. And they're saying that over the past year, we've been strengthening Megaphone's already robust offering, most recently with the acquisition of Wooshka and its broadcast to podcast technology to ensure it's the best place for podcast publishers to create, monetize, and measure their podcast businesses. And now the acquisition of Chartable, we will be further enhancing Megaphone's suite of tools with the integration of Chartable's audience insights and cutting-edge promotional tools, smart links, and smart promos. These tools will make it easier for publishers to turn audience insights into action and expand their listenership while ultimately growing their business. And yeah, so pretty much what they're saying is, hey, you're going to get more analytical tools, and you're going to get more tools to help advertise. More so for the advertisers.
Okay, I see. Yeah, this is definitely very relevant towards, our situation, of course, because it's podcast, but, I mean, you mostly handle that side of that. I know, so, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like this could be useful if I used Spotify's tools, but naturally, I actually don't use Spotify's tools. I use a different service entirely, which that's for another day of discussion. Like, how do I actually do all this stuff behind the scenes?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say more, it's less good to have options, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if it's not useful right now. For us, at least.
Yeah, because eventually I could see myself potentially doing I think it's like a 401 redirect. I believe that's what it's called, where you can transfer your RSS host to a different provider if needed. But that's for another day, another time if I decide to do that.
Yes.
And it's not too, like these, if you guys are using Spotify tools, this is great for, all sorts of crazy stuff. Like you could just use it to help bolster your podcast and just get really good analytics overall. If that's what this is supposed to be for, and this, I feel like this could potentially be really helpful.
Yeah.
But let's cap it off by exploration and space. And by that I mean cosmic sales. Our very last article today, it's not a shit post. I mean,
Lol, what if it's the Flying Dutchman? Lol. Sorry. Sorry. It's the Flying Dutchman. But in Spain.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking about here this episode where Alpaca's favorite topic was the Wordle Battle Royale.
No. Okay, yes, I know. I thought it was gonna be, I thought you would have saved it for this point because I was like, man, this is such a stupid concept. But actually, it feels more like elimination, who can do this the fastest or stuff. I thought it was gonna be like, lol, what's the word, dude? Is it, BAR? Lol. Scuba Jonesy? Yeah, that's the word, dude. Lol. I thought it was gonna be fucking something dense like that. But no, it was actually quite something. Oh shit. I didn't mean to click that.
I mean, hey, we had a good episode. I mean, I know Pac-Man for sure will definitely be using these as cosmic
I know
sales for sure.
Giant Ducky can take over the universe. It just keeps on going. What the fuck? What? How is this big? It's like taking up the entire damn screen. God. Anyway, let's just shrink that before I destroy my desktop.
And I think it made it a little small in the process.
Yes. I could also make it really big. But not as big as my brain. I'm a smart guy. Anyways.
Anyway, so they're saying how in about 4 light years away there is Alpha Centauri, which is the nearest other galaxy, and that to get to it, we won't be able to get there with our current technology until A2022. So it's supposedly going to take roughly 80,000 years to get to Alpha Centauri.
Oh. Well, time to time to freeze ourselves to death and then wake up later.
All right. And I say that's why in 2016, late astrophysicist Stephen Hawking and investor Yuri Milner launched Breakthrough Starshot, an initiative to send microchip-sized space probes over to Alpha Centauri at 20% the speed of light, reducing the whopping travel time to a mere 20 years.
Wow, this would happen in when Battlefield 2042 takes place. Hopefully it'll be patched by then. And we'll get a refund. Anyways, you were saying? Sorry.
Yeah. So they're saying there's blueprint senders on a light sail that harnesses the power of photons, aka light particles, beamed from an Earth-based laser instead of wind like a traditional sail. Though it fit right with the sci-fi tech of Star Trek, the idea gained so much popularity that researchers everywhere began studying how to bring the contraption to fruition, hoping to produce a hyperdrive that blasts around the universe at dizzying rates. Hailing from University of Pennsylvania, once a team is tackling a big piece of the puzzle. In a pair of papers published this month in the journal Nanoletters, researchers suggested a way to ensure these innovative spacecraft don't tear from intense laser pulses during the 2-decade-long interstellar voyage. Basically, the researchers proposed the sail must billow in space's void like standard boat sails wave amid Earth winds. And saying how Some of the light sail figures from early on were billowing, some were not, but it was not well studied. And this was from Iger Bargaton, an associate professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering and Applied Mechanics at the University of Pennsylvania. What we did is show you definitely need billowing. We realized people haven't really looked at the mechanics of the problem, in particular, the possibility of tears. We want to make sure if and when this idea is realized, people pay attention to the things that could happen during acceleration. We don't want these sails to fail. And there's another chapter on here too, and you can kind of see a couple pictures here. Like there's one that looks like this, like with a yellow like rectangle around this white rectangle and blue rectangle. They look like little rectangles out in space.
Yeah.
And
they could be confused for a Cheez-It. Hey, Cheez-It, I found your new ad. Your new ad topic. Cheez-Its in space. Sorry. I'm being fucking airheaded right now. I'm sorry. It's 1 o'clock. It's
dude,
almost 2
it's
o'clock.
fine. We're almost done. Thank God.
Yeah, I know. But lol, Cheez-It in space.
So, a picture a boat venturing out to sea with a sail attached. The sail will heave with every gust of wind and propel the vessel forward. That propulsion happens because the wind hitting the sail bounces off, creating pressure. Light sails are that different. When the photons hit our light sail, they get reflected and they also create pressure. The exact mechanism is a little different because we're talking light versus actual molecules of air, but they create pressure nonetheless in both cases. In fact, these devices have already proven effective to a degree. In 2010, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency launched a light sail mission dubbed Icarus and deemed it a success. In 2019, the experimental light sail 2 follows suit, run by a Kickstarter campaign started by Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. It moved a small satellite in space using pure photon power. Listen, but both Icarus and Lightsail 2 use light emanating from the sun, in contrast to Breakthrough Starshot's vision of laser beams. Though sunlight reduces the risk of tears, it's too weak for Starshoot's endeavor. Plus, Bargaton says Starshot light pulses must happen within a relatively short period of time because once the light sail gets too far from Earth, scientists lose their ability to effectively accelerate it. In short, to reach a fifth the speed of light, so we can access Alpha Centauri in the desired 20 years. Within a strict window, light sails would need extremely strong light pulses possible only with lasers. So design pressures on our light sails are not huge. They're about the same as having a penny on your hand. In scientific terms, pressure adds up to about 10 pascals. Bargaton says, but consider how we go about our lives without worrying about light pressure at all. And they say that it's a significant amount of laser power. So unlike the other light sails I mentioned earlier, light sails imparted with ultra harsh laser pulses can be badly damaged. And the last part here talks about how they're going to make the super durable light sail. And it says, according to researchers, strong laser pulses can create pressure forceful enough to curve and tear the sheet like a taut boat sail may rip if hit by a gust of wind. They believe light sails must have the ability to billow and form a curved shape, kind of like a parachute. Both the sail's light and the rate of curvature should be about 3 meters. In their new papers, the authors outline geometric measurements that ensure optimal billowing. Even a light sail protected from tears, however, will encounter other obstacles. To overcome such issues, the major parameters to consider is sail material. The sheets must be strong for durability, lightweight to minimize laser strength, reflect light, and obviously everything else that makes sense. And they mentioned you can come with a combination of materials. The thickness of those materials and curved geometries would allow the sail to survive the pressures that we're currently designing for. And looking at a material called molybdenum disulfide. And yeah, so as you can see here, there's some proposed microchip probes. And yeah, What do you think of all this stuff?
Um, well, it's honestly a very complicated thing for both of us. Like I think creating a like a literal sale um that would like I feel I mean I don't know, like it's just interesting, what like little um it takes a I know that this you know it involves a lot of math that I'm sure as hell not capable of solving right away. um just the idea of it uh building something like this that would match um 20% of the speed of light, as it says right here.
Mm-hmm.
um and having it go in 20 years from here to you know like Alpha Centauri, and a completely different um solar system. uh, of course there's more to it, I think, right? Like, you gotta hope that everything's right when it does go from A to B. uh but I'm just I don't know, I it, I just love the idea of seeing something like this. You know, I love the idea of this. Going, as much as like Stephen Hawking said. How do we transcend these limits? Um, what we thought we would never see another solar system, like we would never reach another solar system. If we just waited another few decades, who knows? Technology moves at such a really fast pace that what's impossible now is not gonna be impossible in the next decade. In the next few years, even. It just goes to show that we went from something as simple as radio that we take for granted nowadays to something like a graphics card that can produce a simulation of a 3D environment at almost photorealistic uh, detail, you know, um, which we don't take for granted yet because there's a freaking shortage going on, of course. Um, I mean, yeah, I and this is just a tiny microchip, right? It's gonna be using these sails.
I guess
Or is-
so. Yeah. So they actually have an image of the art of it right here.
Yeah, I see.
The solar cells. There's a microcontroller. There's a radio, antennas, a gyroscope naturally to keep its up position. I
Mm,
think that there would be many of these inside the main, you know, base itself because it seems like I can't imagine a chip that small.
yeah, I hear you. I mean, of course they have to have backups, right?
Yeah, so I think like
um,
this is just one of the chips that's going inside the entire micro the space sail itself.
yeah. Um, I mean, either way, I can't wait to see a giant Cheez-It fly through space.
Dude,
Anyway,
a giant space Cheez-It that
yeah.
also can literally like propel like spacecraft, and we can. And if this is done, like imagine if this was done in like when I'm like I don't know 40 years old, and you're like 35 or 34 roughly.
I'll be 64.
Yeah, then if this exists by the time in our lifetime, we could technically go to Alpha Centauri and be, your 50s, and I could be my 60s or roughly like that, and we could actually explore one of these planets in Alpha Centauri. That'd be really cool to see.
Yeah. And then get attacked by aliens. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding.
We'll have more advanced weaponry by that, so at that point, you can literally make it New America.
Yeah. We can now enjoy our cheeseburgers in peace. That is, if everything doesn't go to shit beforehand, of course.
Well, that way, cheeseburgers, but barbecue
Space
ribs.
burgers.
And some
Space.
It's a barbecue ribs and some
Barbecue space ribs.
exactly. And corn on the cob and all that other good stuff. Oh yeah, definitely.
Gonna enjoy some flame grilled corn on cup.
Exactly.
Enjoy shooting my futuristic space guns.
And those steaks. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Gonna enjoy my Chevy. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Gonna enjoy my Nano Chevy. I don't know.
Right. All right.
Fly like an eagle. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah.
At this
That's the
point,
thing.
I was gonna say at this point, I don't think we have comments of the day. So
Yeah, we do. What if I'm just gonna look at the smooth brain comments that I leave on your videos. What? Okay, so episode 25. So long, Gary Bowser. So long, Discord. You get, virus. The Rubber Ducky episode, 24.
25. I mean, wait, shit. Oh, Rubber Duck 24. That's right.
And, episode 23, The Time Paradox. 10 hours later. What if Pope Francis was Sans from Earthbound, dude? Anyways. It's 2 o'clock. I shouldn't be shouting.
I don't think we should even be doing this episode right now, but here we are, just about to wrap this whole thing up.
You sure about that? Because what if Sans from Earthbound was, the PlayStation 5 on top of Pope Francis's head, lol, dude? Where is that image? Is this it? No, that's not it! That's absolute baked alpaca. Fucking baked, dude. Lol, dude, I get fucking baked. I'm gonna stop screaming to the microphone now before I wake up the neighbor. He has a double barrel, I think. He's an asshole too. So yeah,
All right. Well, let's
I'm gonna
end.
smash.
Yeah, let's end this quickly. I'm Hydrowave99.
And I'm FluufAlpaca. Let's suplex rubber duckies together. Join me on my quest to suplex this rubber duck right away.
And man, I thought you were going to suplex the big boss of them all, Bobby Kotick, but okay.
No. Well, yeah. I mean, hey, to each their own.
Right.
I mean, I just listened to, my best friend, the Call of Duty father, and smashed that duck.
Right.
Smashed the duck button. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So if you
I
like
don't know
what
what the fuck I'm saying.
yeah, if you like what you guys see today, like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Also, just follow us on any of our different platforms that you see. You know, we have a link tree down below where you can view all of our different platforms, such as the video version on YouTube and the audio versions. And, of course, our Discord, which is our lovely community that we try to interact with all our viewers. And, you know, at least we'd like to be able to interact with our community.
Yeah. I mean, hey, until then, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash that duck.
Smash everything. And until then, we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Let me smash.